Cheers,
Salute.
mate.
Cheers.
Salute.
Cheers.
And welcome. Oh, that tastes like a fun time ahead.
Oof.
Welcome to the monthly movie marathon. I'm drunk already.
Welcome
Pete.
to the monthly movie marathon where we marathon movies monthly. You're welcome.
Because in a monthly capacity,
We watch
we
movies.
marathon movies.
Oh, yeah.
It's all right. We've got about 6
We've
taglines.
never ever gotten
We've
it
never got it
correct.
right, and that's why if you go to the YouTube comments below, you can vote in the poll for what our tagline should be. I probably won't set that up.
No, we won't set that
I
up.
won't set
at
that
all.
up. But welcome back to the show. It's lovely
Hi.
to see you again. Nick Labarre, critic for NovaStream Network.
Peter Gray, Rotten Tomatoes certified critic man.
Man. For the AU review. And we are here today with our favourite show. Our only show that we're
Our
going to
only
go.
show.
But our favourite show. And we're here to talk about, as you
Motherfucking sharks.
aptly described last month,
That's what we're talking about.
motherfucking sharks. But
Motherfucking sharks.
before we get into motherfucking sharks, Pete, let's just acknowledge the fact that we live in a post-Barbenheimer world.
We live in a post-Barbenheimer world where, my God, did the people turn up
Oh my God.
for both?
If turning up was a goddamn job, the people are doing their
The
job.
world did their job. I'll say America,
Great work.
$155 million for Barbie.
Insane.
And what,
85-ish, I think, for Oppenheimer. Above 80. Above 80.
Worldwide, Barbie is at 337.
And then 140 or something, 135,
Oppenheimer.
140 for...
And then today, just learnt that Barbie over the weekend had the biggest ever Saturday and the biggest ever Sunday, beating Avengers Endgame and the Star Wars
7.
The Force Awakens.
Unreal.
Thank you for showing up for original films. And
Hey, man.
let's hope that the takeaway is not like
Let's-
we don't necessarily want to see heaps of movies now based on
We don't
dolls.
want, and we don't, but we also don't want like the replication of like the double feature weekend.
No,
because then
like
you're just
this-
forcing movies together.
Like this was like one of those things. It happens every
Well,
15 years.
have you seen the next one that
What's the
people are? And this one will not have any traction, but it kind of made me go like, oh, are we really doing this already? Saw X or Saw 10
Yeah.
got pushed up to September,
Yeah.
and it's coming out the same weekend as the new Paw Patrol movie. So they've gone
Saw Patrol. That's not a thing.
Just
And
because I'll be watching both doesn't mean it's a thing.
Yeah, nah.
But no.
We won't see a Barbenheimer for
A long
time.
time.
Like
A long time.
Like the last time was probably The Dark Knight, Mamma Mia, which was 15 years
It's
ago.
funny, another Nolan film, which is even better.
And then 15 years before that, I think it was like Free Willy and like Hocus Pocus or something, open on the same weekend.
Interesting.
Something like that.
They seem at least like adjacent films.
But it was just weird to
like,
open a movie like Hocus Pocus in July.
Yeah, it's an October movie,
Weird.
right? But
Anyway,
success stories.
Barbenheimer, we live in a post-Barbenheimer world.
Both movies are great.
I'm all for it. I love it.
Loved it. And I guess especially because last month we did Nolan films for
Did.
Oppenheimer, we can probably briefly say that, well, I'll say I loved Oppenheimer. I was on board for all 3 hours.
We both loved Oppenheimer and Barbie.
Oh, I loved
but
Barbie too. Sorry, yeah. I liked Oppenheimer more.
He's the Oppenheimer of the
I'm
Barbenheimers,
the,
and I'm
you're the Barb.
and I'm the Barb.
You're the Barb. But I mean, in fairness, we did say that at the end of the episode as well. I was like, I was more excited for Oppenheimer.
Yeah,
you were
and I
more
was more
excited.
excited.
But then both of us were like, but we can't wait to see both.
Yeah,
And we loved
this
both.
is not,
I loved Barbie.
And
I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, and this is not some like, oh, of course the straight guy loved Oppenheimer and the gay guy loved Barbie. That's not what this is.
I laughed at a lot of the gay shit in Barbie.
I was sitting next to Nick in Barbie,
Laughed at a lot of
and
it.
he laughed at a lot of it. And even though I came out of Oppenheimer initially being like, I don't know how to feel,
Which is fair.
because
a big movie.
it's 3 hours of density.
I'll add to that. Barbie is also full of stuff. Like,
Yes.
there's a lot of thematic
Yeah.
shit to break down in Barbie.
yeah.
So I can understand if people walked out a little, like, initially overwhelmed for
but
that
I
as well.
let Oppenheimer sit with me,
Yeah.
and I have my criticisms,
No,
but
that's fair.
it's still a movie that I love.
Barbenheimer wins.
Yes.
That's just like, there's
Cinema.
Oh my God.
wins.
Money, money, money.
So yes, but apart from Barbenheimer, we have another movie coming.
We do
out.
have, look,
And you know what?
what an upgrade in fucking standards.
And you know what? We say that we live in a post-Barbenheimer world. Nah, we live in a pre-MEG 2 world.
Meg 2, The Trench. Now, here's something I want to say that's kind of funny about this. So, technically, it's called Meg 2, The Trench, right?
Yes, yeah.
Whereas the first film was called The Meg.
Meg.
But when it initially was announced, it was just called Meg. Because, as I found out, rewatching it for this episode, it's based on a novel
Yeah,
called Meg.
yeah.
And you know what the Meg 2, The Trench is based on? A novel called The Trench. Who would have fucking thought?
There you go.
So not only are we delving into cinematic motherfucking shark masterpieces, but we're also getting our literary on because one of these movies is at least based on a book.
One of them. One of them is the only one that is.
The only one that is.
Yeah.
So yes, the Meg 2, The Trench, coming into cinemas August 3 in Australia, August 4
in
worldwide.
yes.
Now, we haven't heard much about this.
No, we have not.
There is a trailer out there.
There is a trailer out there.
I've seen it.
I have too.
I don't normally watch trailers, but I was like, oh, the Meg could be over
The
there.
Meg 2 is one of those ones where you'd be like, I don't think it's going to be like spoiled for
No,
you.
I'm not losing the effect of the Meg by watching the
because
trailer.
also a part of me feels like maybe it's one of those trailers where some of that stuff isn't in the film.
Fabricated
Yeah, like one of
trailers
those,
to sell the movie.
and you know what? There was this whole thing where people were
spoiled.
like, bring back the trailer that has nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah, like the proper teaser,
where they
right?
film specific footage for that. And I was like, it's
Godzilla
great.
1998, the
Yeah.
foot going through the museum, not in the film. Spider-Man 2002.
Yes, when he's on the
helicopters.
They also got rid of
They
that
also had to
because-
remove that, but that was filmed for the trailer. Right? Yeah,
Jurassic Park.
Jurassic Park's one.
Where they showed like the
So fucking cool.
And then you have weird things like the 2006 Black Christmas remake,
Oh,
where they filmed things for the trailer only,
right.
amongst like
Everything else.
and it was a case of they put shots in because Weinstein
Yeah.
was like, we just need to make this film look like more exciting.
Yeah.
So they filmed all of these like really cool trailer shots.
Yeah.
For characters that like actresses and characters that aren't in the film at all, and then other
God, wow.
characters that do things that you're like,
Oh my God, they're the killer, or
like,
they're gonna die.
I don't see
or-
how this fits into the film at all.
Right.
And then you watch the film and go, oh, the cool shit's not there.
Right.
So
right,
that's
right.
also a weird. That's the sort of stuff that I don't like.
I don't like when it's
Where it's
misleading.
like we film things just like for a trailer
microphone.
amongst actual footage. But when it's like a teaser trailer, that's
So-
like, yeah, I get, yeah.
But the funny thing is, just like complete tangent on this topic.
Yeah.
The whole thing with Anna de Armas and Yesterday, and the guy sued Focus
Yeah.
Features because she wasn't in the film, claiming that the only reason he was going to see the film was Anna de
that,
Armas.
yeah.
I mean, hey,
I mean, if I
blame
could,
them, but-
if I could sue Black Christmas, Miramax, I think they did it. I'd be
I
like,
think so. Yeah,
I'd be like, hey, there were some really cool fucking shots in that trailer. Michelle Trachtenberg brandishing a shotgun saying "Merry Christmas, motherfucker." Come on,
that's not in the movie.
that's not in the movie.
God damn.
Yeah, I know, right?
that is fucking cool.
Oh, yeah.
Well, but unlike those trailers, the Meg 2 trailer was not exciting.
No,
Not
no,
exciting.
no, not at all.
However, I do want to kind of go into this movie with some hope, simply because if it can do what, as we will discuss, the first movie probably couldn't do, was be just over the top and fun,
Yes.
then we might have a bit of a winner on our hands.
Yeah.
Ben Wheatley directing, like we mentioned last episode,
Yeah.
odd choice. But his first studio movie, kind of. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
see.
But
We'll see.
because we are discussing motherfucking Shark Piece, we are picked some movies. Well, obviously we're going to rewatch The Meg, or have rewatched The Meg. We'll
have
discuss it
rewatched
today. And then we picked a motherfucking shark movie each. Pete, your pick was...
Motherfucking Sharknado.
I love that you hadn't seen it, and I love that I made you watch this. And my pick,
thank you.
you're welcome, was Deep Blue Sea because I hadn't seen that, which was a travesty because I really enjoyed the fuck out of the movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. But we are incorporating. You might be wondering, like, Nick, Pete, why are you drinking so responsibly?
Right?
Yeah, always, like in Australia, 18 and above.
Hey.
You drink responsibly and don't drink if you're, I think, pregnant. Oh, no, just it can cause lifelong harm to your baby. So don't do it if you're pregnant, I guess.
Oh, no.
There's the legalities out of the way. We decided to make a little drinking game out of this. Now,
And I still don't really know the rules.
neither do I, and that's the best part. No, so as I watched
This could have been
the
one of those
films,
be like, you decide for us.
drunk live stream getting out of hands, but I think we may have to do that one day.
Yeah.
Add it to the list.
Yeah.
We're doing a little drinky poo. As I was watching these films, I wrote down every time a person died.
A person died.
Sorry, I should actually even go over the top. A person is eaten by a shark.
Fair enough.
Now, people die in these films by shark-related causes,
Yes.
but aren't necessarily eaten by a shark.
Yes.
So I've written down every time someone is eaten by a shark. Now, there is
Amazing.
one caveat when we get to that with the MEG, and we will discuss that with the MEG, and I have a rule in place for that.
Okay.
But every time we discuss someone getting eaten by a shark, Pete and I will drink.
We drink.
Bigger drink. We can sip throughout. We can enjoy these, but it'll be a drink.
But you know what? Maybe, and I'm just adding this in now.
Please do. Yeah.
Maybe the better the death scene, the more we drink.
Ooh, okay.
Like,
we can
if
do
it's a scene that we're just
that
like,
was worth it.
that was a good scene.
I like it.
Yeah.
I like it. Well, let's wait no longer. Let's
yes.
get into the deaths. Let's get into the motherfucking sharks. And we're going in chronological order of release. I know I keep doing these little piano fingers today. Deep Blue Sea, 1999.
What a time.
What a time to be alive, baby. 1999. Critics score on Rotten Tomatoes 60%.
I'm happy with that.
Very happy with that.
I'm
Audience
not-
score 39.
Fuck all of
Audiences,
you.
dude.
I do not understand how this
Now,
movie...
this is a problem with criticism today. The audiences just don't understand a good movie.
Yeah, audiences just don't know how to have fun anymore. Fuck off.
Fun was there right in front of you in 1999.
And you know what? It bit you in the fucking face.
It bit a fucking few people in the face in
really
this
did.
movie. But Deep Blue Sea was a lot of fun.
It's so much
It
fun.
is so much fun. Searching for a cure to Alzheimer's disease, a group of scientists on an isolated research facility become the prey as a trio of intelligent sharks fight back.
Yeah, they do.
Thomas Jane, Saffron Burrows, Samuel L. Jackson, Jacqueline McKenzie, Michael Rappaport, Stellan Skarsgård. That's how you say his name.
LL Cool J.
LL fucking Cool J, who steals the show. Absolutely steals the show.
You ate my bird.
But you had seen this movie previously.
I had.
Were you excited to rewatch?
So I was in the United States when I remember seeing the trailer for this.
Okay.
So I was sitting in a cinema watching the South Park movie.
Such a good movie. Bigger, longer, and uncut.
Bigger, longer, and uncut, because obviously I couldn't see that on my own in the States because I had to be, if you're under 17, can't see it.
Right. No, that makes sense. Yeah.
And so me and my brother convinced my mum to take us.
Okay.
And against her better judgment, she laughed all the way through it.
That's cool though.
So
That's
much
what you
so,
want.
so much so that we were like, can we sing it again? And she was like, oh, I guess I'll take you. And I was like, ah. So I remember seeing the trailer for this. And the trailer for this is classic tease.
Right.
So what it was the shot of Saffron Burrows' feet going into the water when she's in that room.
Yeah.
Her looking down and then looking up when you see the fin. Literally then just like Deep Blue Sea. And then at the end of it, you don't know who it is, but it's the shot where you see the body floating and the shark
comes up and takes the body.
It's Michael Rappaport,
yeah.
But because on the trailer, you don't see his face.
Right,
And it's this really quick shot of the
shark
body and then the
taking the
shark
body.
taking it. And it's just like, oh my God.
A Deep Blue Sea.
Yes.
That's the teaser trailer, man.
So that was
That's
a good
teaser trailer.
But then, yes, I remember seeing this in the cinemas. I remember but I remember I had an NTSC playback DVD player.
Oh my God.
So when my mum went to the States for
Yeah.
work, she brought me back a DVD
Whole-
copy of it. Like on the old school one where it had like the clip on the side.
Yeah, and you had to open it. Yeah.
So she
I do
bought that
remember
back.
those.
I then owned it on DVD. It was very hard to find on Blu-ray.
Okay.
And then I managed to find a Deep Blue Sea 2 double
Combo.
pack. And I was like, I just want this for Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah, but I mean,
So now I have it on Blu-ray and I'm very, very happy. I fucking love this movie.
It's a lot of
this was
fun.
like I saw this from when I was like 15.
Yeah.
So I just have watched this for like 20 years.
years,
Like,
right? Yeah.
I love this movie so much. And it still really holds up.
It does. I will say it holds up. I had a lot of fun with this because I
drink Deep
think,
Blue Sea.
hey, yeah, here's the Deep Blue Sea. I had a lot of fun with this movie. It holds up, but it has this classic late 90s
Oh, it's
thriller vibe to
it's-
it that's
It's absolutely a product of
everything
the 90s.
is so heightened and over the top. Like the opening scene is perfect where it's two couples like out in a boat, all making out with each other. The dudes are shirtless, the chicks are in their bikinis, and it's like the sloppy 90s making out. And then all of a sudden the boat's rocked and they fall out in fucking insane fashion.
But also major fake out because you're watching this thinking, oh, we're about to see
They're
like
gonna
because
die.
it's kind of like the Jaws.
That's
And
it.
then
Thomas Jane, Carter Blake coming to save the day with his bloody little spear gun.
he's really fucking sexy in this movie.
I mean, I've never found Thomas Jane like traditionally attractive.
I'm sort of the same. In this movie, I'd be like, I'd let you fucking
Spear gun me.
catch my
Spear
shark.
gun,
I
catch
don't
you,
know.
yeah. Hey,
spear gun me, Jane.
Euphemize that.
Yeah. Either way, I would let Thomas Jane
Have a
rearrange my shark guts. I don't know. Either way.
ooh.
Yeah.
Take that as you will. I do kind of wish someone died in that opening scene, but I don't mind the fake out. I don't mind the fake out.
Especially because
We're now
when
drinking
they
because that's-
when they save the killings for when shit starts to go down, you're
Oh,
like,
it's
okay.
yeah, it's so much more worth
I'm ready.
it. But as I said, it's an Alzheimer's research facility. They're like testing stuff on shark brains.
It's a pretty decent
It's like the narrative device that they use
Yeah.
is kind of like,
Like-
okay, that's cool.
there's never a good reason to use shark brains.
not like the Meg where it's just like we want to investigate. Like,
but
it's
like this, you watch this and just go, okay, they think they're doing something smart.
Yeah.
And it just happens to backfire completely.
Yeah.
But for a narrative for essentially a B grade creature feature,
God, yeah.
it's a good narrative.
And it holds up like throughout the film, right?
like that's kind of like wanting to cure Alzheimer's is pretty much
it's
everyone will want to do that forever.
forever and ever.
Yeah.
And the person who wants to do that forever and ever is Rich Boy Sam Jackson, the investor, who this was kind of early in his career too. Let's not forget.
Yeah, so he'd probably been, I'm going to say he'd been maybe working for like, when did he start? Did he start late 80s or early 90s?
Just having a look now.
But yeah, this was still, like, so people knew who Samuel L. Jackson
Yes,
was. Because
totally,
obviously we
yeah.
had Pulp Fiction. So Pulp Fiction was like, what, 5 years prior?
Well, his first one was in 1972,
But he didn't really become popular.
Pulp Fiction was 94.
I remember him in Loaded Weapon 1.
Yeah, I remember Loaded Weapon.
God,
1,
Loaded
yeah.
Weapon 1.
And
fucking
he'd done
great
Die
movie.
Hard 3, A Time to Kill.
So he was
yeah.
Out of Sight. There you go.
Out of Sight,
So he
Negotiator.
was known, and it was a big deal.
Oh, Star Wars.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Had to come out in 99. Yeah.
It
I
was
retract my earlier
It
statement.
was a big deal for when a particular scene happens.
Yes.
Because it was like, we've got Samuel L. Jackson.
Totally.
And because apart from him, like Thomas Jane wasn't really super well known.
LL Cool J was the rapper.
Yeah, Saffron Burrows wasn't super well
No.
known outside of like, because she'd done like a lot of British films.
Yes, totally, yeah.
Like Jacqueline McKenzie was like
Michael
an
Rappaport was still a comedian.
Yeah,
like,
Jacqueline McKenzie was Australian actress.
Australian.
You know, I mean,
So yeah, it's not
she
necessarily.
she is an Australian
She
actress.
still
But she had
currently
done-
is an Australian.
But she
and
had
an
done
actress.
Australian productions like Romper Stomper.
Yes. Oh, she had two. That's right.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's a movie.
Yeah.
But I, like we were saying earlier, I do appreciate how seriously they do take the Alzheimer's shit.
Yeah,
Because, like,
yeah.
the testing scene where things do start going wrong is really intense.
It's really intense.
It's really well
because you're like, okay, things have gone right.
done. Yes.
we know things are going to go wrong.
Totally.
And then when things go wrong, they go really
They go real
fucking
wrong.
And it's
Real
and
wrong.
basically then you're just like, the rest of the movie is just
as don't get killed by sharks.
Shark, yeah.
They got to get from the bottom of the facility to the top again, right?
Yeah.
Like, because it's obviously this massive underwater
and it's that
facility.
So the scene of like the whole facility like going under, like that just like chain reaction of everything that happens.
Yeah, but it's cool. Like, it's really fucking
It
cool.
made me realize Stellan Skarsgård, he fucking suffers in this movie.
Well, let's not forget his opening scene is literally him pissing in the wind.
Yeah.
Which was very on the nose.
Which is like, dude, you're not making
the shot of him just sitting there.
Like you're not making
it out alive.
this
But no, he gets like, okay, we'll break down Stellan Skarsgård because he could technically be our first drink, but it takes a while to get.
It does take a while
because he gets his arm bitten off,
which is real, like
very bloody. That's a very.
So I will
bloody
say,
scene.
even though you watch this film and there are very clearly, obviously, special like some of the shark effects are not super polished.
When
you watch them now,
totally.
But this movie does implement real shark footage. Real shark. Like Thomas Jane actually swam with the real shark when he's on the side of it getting
one?
Yeah. So it's like, okay. And then
he also rides sharks in this movie, let's not forget.
Yeah,
he doesn't just swim with them. Thomas Jane fucking rides the
he's
sharks.
pretty badass in this movie. But yeah, so they implement like real shark footage and like animatronic sharks for certain shots. But then when like the sharks are like furiously swimming, or it's like
CGI.
It's CGI, and it's also
it's 90s.
It's 99. But when you watch this with the two other films, you're like,
nothing much is. They didn't give any more money to those films.
One of those films is clearly, obviously, why it's so cheap.
Right? Yeah.
The Meg.
Well, what's that movie's excuse?
Like, that's 20 years after this, and you look at them and just go,
but like, so like this picture that's up here on IMDb right now, like that is a practical shark.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean? So like in those scenes and the scene where Stellan Skarsgård's arm gets bitten off.
Yeah, it's animatronic.
It's an animatronic. And it's awesome. It looks great.
So yeah, like, so they've...
And they do hide it well with like the sloshing water, but I'm like, that's believable because it's a shark just wrestling its way out.
And it's like, it's great because like they've captured the shark to get the brain.
They're doing the MRI test.
To get the brain there. And it's like,
and
and it's gone successfully.
Yes.
And basically Saffron Burrows...
And this is after they've had to bring the test forward too, because Samuel Jackson's like we got to get that shit done.
So Saffron Burrows, who essentially is Dr. Susan McAllister, who's kind of overseeing everything.
Yes. Yeah.
And she's like, I will get you results by the end in 48 hours.
Yeah.
And Samuel Jackson's flown into the facility to be like, all right, I want to see what my millions of dollars is doing.
And it was a good weekend to come because it's the weekend, so they send everyone off.
They send everyone off.
Skeleton crew.
So there you go. There, we don't need any extra people. Susan's birthday, so we get like...
Yes, that's right. There's like a fun little party scene, which LL Cool J, as the chef, is preparing all the food and the drinks for it.
And we kind of learn that there's something between Susan and Carter.
Yes.
We sort of get that there's like unspoken sexual tension.
Yeah, or they may have slept together before.
And then we get that Jacqueline McKenzie's character and Stellan Skarsgård character, they're together. And
that's right, because she's like the first one to jump down when his arm gets bitten off, right?
Yeah, and then she's always saying like how brilliant he is and things like that.
Yes,
but so there was actually a deleted subplot with those two characters.
Interesting.
I'll just talk about it now.
No, please, yeah.
So she was pregnant with Stellan Skarsgård's child.
Okay.
But Rennie Harlan was like,
Rennie Harlan directed this movie too.
Rennie Harlan, who directed
Die Hard
2, Long Kiss Goodnight, Cliffhanger.
Yeah.
He's done some banging movies.
Not so much recently.
No. But he was like, I don't feel good about killing
a pregnant lady.
And I was like, you know what? That's fair.
Hey, it's got a,
so they
got a moral compass on him.
They completely exercised all of the pregnancy stuff, which is, and you know what? You don't lose anything in that.
Oh no, I was even thinking for this movie's runtime, which is about like 100-ish minutes.
Yeah.
I didn't need anything else. Like I was fine with where it was at.
And you know, also you still feel bad for Jacqueline McKenzie's character.
Oh God, yeah, absolutely.
Because she's like probably
the smart thing about this movie is
the
that
most innocent out of everybody.
As much as you want to watch people die.
Yeah.
you still kind of feel bad when certain characters do die.
Pretty much everybody in this movie.
Except, I would argue, Samuel L. Jackson.
Yeah.
Who even still is so super likable,
Yeah.
but you know because he's like the billionaire investor who's like, I need my testing done now and I don't care how we get it done, goddammit.
Yeah.
Definitely to a lesser extent than our old mate in the MEG, the fuck's his name?
Wilson.
Rainn Wilson.
Yeah.
Who is what we would call insufferable.
That's a nice way of putting it.
It's a very nice way of putting it. We'll have other words once we've had a couple more drinks.
Yeah. So Stellan Skarsgård's character.
So after he gets his arm bitten off.
Well, he goes basically. I mean, it's really stupid because he basically goes down next to the shark to be like, "Hey, like we did it."
Yeah.
Even though this shark is meant to be sedated,
asleep. Yeah,
bites his arm off. Horrific, nice, bloody stump.
It's a great scene. It's a great
Blood
moment.
goes everywhere. Everybody's freaking out, and then Thomas Jane goes to basically kill the shark.
The shark, yeah.
And Saffron Burrows is like, no, because she's like, this is our like.
This is the shark, yeah.
So she lets it go. So this is where a lot of people have an issue with Saffron Burrows' character because really, if you think about it, she's the reason why everything
happens. Yeah, totally, yeah.
So
but guess what? You wouldn't have a movie if she didn't do it.
So she was deemed the villain.
Right.
So I will, and I'll talk about.
It's complex.
I'll talk about more towards the end.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. It's complex.
But then, so Stellan Skarsgård now is armless, and they're like, we need to get him.
We need to
safety.
medevac him out. Yeah.
So they medevac. That helicopter comes really fucking quickly.
Oh yeah, that helicopter comes so fast, and they get him up. They get him on the stretcher.
I love this scene so much.
The scene's great, and then he's getting lifted up on his stretcher. And then
as water is like
filling
there's basically the outside there's like this massive storm, so the waves are crashing, which means sharks are now a lot more like just easily swimming about in the waves and all that sort of shit. He's on the stretcher, he's getting hoisted up. It
starts spinning out, and he gets dropped back
dropped back into the water. Yeah. But the rope is still attached to
the
him.
helicopter. So
then naturally you're like, let's pull him back up. Nah, there's a shark in the water that
it's literally like bait on a line.
Yeah, that grabs him and then pulls the helicopter.
I love it. I fucking love it.
And then pulls the helicopter into the facility, killing Aida Totoro's character, who is the auntie or cousin of John Turturro.
Ah, okay, there we go.
So she explodes.
She explodes.
So you know what? Pour one out for her.
Oh, okay. Because I was going to say not eaten by a shark technically. So
I don't care. I'm just going to drink anyway. So she's dead.
The game is done.
She's dead.
She's gone.
So then now they're all like back in the facility, like
the water's starting to come in even more so now, so they're just trying to find a way back up to
and
the
in
top.
Their mind they think Stellan Skarsgård is safe.
Do they? Oh, that's true, because they haven't seen him.
They saw him go up, but they didn't see him.
Helicopter.
Yeah. So then we get probably what I think
is the coolest reveal,
where Samuel Jackson's like, please, someone tell me what that is.
And they turn around to this window.
This giant window, and all you see is this little tiny bed with Stellan Skarsgård freaking the fuck out.
It's so
He's
funny.
still alive.
He's still fucking
breathing.
alive.
The shark has him in his mouth, and the shark just like
it uses him as a battering ram.
Launches him into the giant window, which then starts to crack.
Oh my god!
And naturally,
so
you're like,
good,
wait, if the window's about to crack, then that window will break. And if the window breaks,
it's a great logical next step.
Sharks are going to swim into the facility underwater. So technically, at this point, Stellan Skarsgård is still alive.
Still alive, even when he's used as a battering ram,
and he's just
still alive.
And he's just looking at all of their faces as they're just like, "What the
fuck is
Jacqueline
happening?"
McKenzie is like heartbroken because she's like looking at her boyfriend
just
being like
suffering.
Yeah, it's really sad. There's one shot where you can see her mouthing, "I want my mum," and I was like, that made me feel really sad.
That's dark.
But then
it's a great line though.
Piece by piece,
just
glass breaks through, and then
water brushes through. And we should also mention that these sharks are incredibly intelligent.
Yes,
like they are specific. They've been specifically altered to have high intelligence.
I guess the side effect of them being tested has made them super smart. Which
they they know how to take out the cameras under the facility and stuff. They've obviously, that scene's great. Obviously, they're using Stellan as a battering ram to get inside.
They know how to swim backwards.
They can swim backwards, that's
sharks
right.
can't do.
The smartest motherfuckers there is.
So Stellan Skarsgård now is officially dead.
Rest in peace, Stellan.
And weirdly, it's not really eaten by a shark, but still.
No, because he does at one point. Oh, yeah.
No,
rest in peace, Stellan.
Bless him.
Love ya.
So now we're like fully in.
So the water's like coming in.
Yeah, now we're in like fully like danger territory.
Now, while this is happening,
yes,
unbeknownst to everyone else, and also him being unbeknownst to what the fuck is going on, he just sees a lot of water filling his kitchen. Is LL Cool J and his cursing parrot
preacher,
who has a parrot who calls people motherfucker
and hey, you dickhead,
hey, dickhead, which had me fucking in stitches, but.
His nasty tongue when he's feeding
himself.
that's
right. Yeah. Even there's the bird beak on the mouth.
Yeah.
And,
and he's like, you nasty.
You nasty. He's so fucking great in this movie, but because he doesn't know what's going on, and then all of a sudden, a shark is appearing in the kitchen.
So he's like,
escape.
he's completely separated. All he's heard is like obviously the commotion going outside, but he doesn't know that like Stellan Skarsgård's dead.
It's dead. Yeah,
he doesn't know that the facility is flooded.
No.
As he walks through, doors start
flying open. Yeah.
So then he gets his own like little set piece where he's in the kitchen. Shark comes in. The shark eats the bird.
Shark, yeah. You know what? Actually, rest in peace for the bird.
Yeah.
My guy. My parrot, man.
And so we see LL Cool J being like, you're not just a chef. You're a resourceful motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
Because he's like, all right.
I'm going to hide where the shark can't get me.
So he goes inside the oven.
In this massive oven.
But then the water pressure is so strong that it turns.
No, I thought the shark nudged it.
Does it?
Maybe I'm just imagining.
I always thought the water was just like.
No, it probably is that, to be honest.
Either way, the water
gets into an oven.
The water or the shark makes the dial of the oven.
I'm going to live in a reality where I think it's the shark.
Yeah, turn on. So now LL Cool J's like, oh great, I'm going to be cooked.
It's heating up, and then he manages to. I can't remember. He had an axe or something. He
has like the little hatchet,
and he
gets his way,
smashes his way through the roof,
gets into the other oven above it, opens it up because the shark is battering into the glass to eat LL Cool J. He then jumps out.
That shot of him leaping over the shark is brilliant.
And then the shark, even though in normal circumstances you'd be like, the shark's in there. Yeah. These sharks can swim backwards. But then
let's not forget that the sharks can swim backwards.
Because the oven is on.
Yes.
Which means it is filling up with gas.
Oh, yeah.
We get.
Oh, my God.
Fucking. This is like one of those classic, like cheesy, lines.
Yep.
Flicks on his little fire.
The lighter. Yep. The fire lighter.
The lighter. And you ate my bird. Throws it. Boom.
Blows up the
shark.
So fucking good.
And you know what?
So good.
The way that they kill every shark in this film is emulated of how they kill the sharks in Jaws.
Interesting. There we go. See, I had no idea all these fun little tidbits about the movie. But it's a lot of goddamn fun.
I do, because I have like 25 years of loving it. So yeah.
I do love in that scene as well, though, that they use that bird's eye view for like the shark. I called it a sharker vision.
Yeah.
I was like, when it's like following him around.
But I love that
they
do that. But I love that they do that to fake you out in a lot of stuff too.
Totally.
There's some shots where you think it's happening.
Yes.
And then you realize, oh, it's just the camera doing
that.
Especially there's one part with Saffron Burrows where it's not from the shark's perspective, but they put the fin in the background.
That's right. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That was a great scene.
But by this point, everything's gone to shit. We've killed a shark. And
the
now
shark has killed.
Yes.
And has killed a bird.
And so now Thomas Jane, Saffron Burrows, Samuel L. Jackson, Michael Rappaport, Jacqueline McKenzie are like, all right,
we need to get to the fucking top.
We need to get to the top. And at this point, LL Cool J is still separated.
He's still separated from them.
Yes. So we then get ready for the second death scene of the
the game, I guess, technically.
Does the shark die second or does Jacqueline McKenzie die second?
No, someone else dies before Jacqueline McKenzie. Someone very significant dies.
That's
before
right. Yeah,
Jacqueline McKenzie.
Yes.
And
yes.
if you have, maybe you haven't seen Deep Blue Sea before, but you have absolutely heard of or seen this iconic moment.
Yeah.
And it's when rich boy Sam Jackson, billionaire investor,
Yeah.
gives his speech to rally the troops.
It's so good.
About how they're going to rally together and we're going to get up to the top of that because we know we can. We're going to outsmart these dumb motherfucking sharks.
Who are ironically very smart.
Right, who are literally very smart. And as he is just, even I was getting inspired by what he was saying at this point. And it's so fucking great that he's walking from the top of this platform and he's doing this really sort of empowered speech where he just happens to be walking closer and closer to a body of water.
Yeah.
Smart thing to do.
Yeah.
And during the middle of his speech, when everyone's kind of like, yeah, we're going to fucking do this.
Yes, Samuel Jackson,
Yeah.
we'll follow you.
Out of nowhere, Shark launches up, grabs Samuel L. Jackson, and rips him straight back down. Rest in peace,
Rest in peace,
Samuel L.
Samuel
Jackson. My guy. What a time.
What's great is, so you see him get taken in the water, you see all their reactions, and then you kind of think, oh, maybe that's it. No. You then see in the water, you see them holding his body and another one chomping his head and then rip him apart. Now,
So
I will tell you,
it's so great.
in the cinema, that got a fucking reaction.
Like a round of applause.
Not a round of applause, like a kind of a round of applause, but just like a holy shit,
Right.
you just killed Samuel L. Jackson. And so for a long time, there was this rumor that Samuel L. Jackson basically wasn't enjoying himself filming
Right.
it and asked
to be killed
to
off.
be killed off. That has been debunked.
Yes. Right.
Samuel L. Jackson was like, I loved filming this. I had
Yeah.
so much fun. And he was
He
like,
looks like he was having fun.
and he was like, he's like, I loved the fact that I was like, I got to have.
He strikes me as the guy who would enjoy that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like he would be like, this is great for the movie.
Yeah. Like you hear about some actors who are like, I only took this role because I knew that I would die.
Yes, totally right. Yeah.
But he was like, I love that.
he was in. But yeah,
because people wouldn't expect you to kill Samuel L. Jackson.
but it's fucking brutal when
Yeah.
he gets ripped
Really fucking
apart.
brutal.
And the deaths sort of start happening in a little bit more quick succession now because they're just pretty much like, all right, we got to get the fuck out of here. One less person to worry about, I guess.
Yeah. And also because he wasn't like part of the friend group, there's not a lot of mourning him.
No,
It's very much just like,
let's get out of here.
Let's get the fuck out of here.
So then so now we got Thomas Jane, Saffron Burrows, Michael Rappaport, and Jacqueline
Jacqueline
McKenzie,
McKenzie.
right?
And we get where they to keep going up.
Yeah.
They figure, all right, let's flood like
That's right.
let's flood the elevator shaft.
Yes.
And that way we'll flood it and we'll be able
It'll
to
take us up.
It'll take
Yeah,
us
yeah.
up the open door. Which is
It's
like a
not terrible
good idea in
Not a
theory.
terrible idea.
They're doing that, and well, obviously, if you flood something and there are sharks swimming about,
Turns out sharks like being in water.
yeah. So
Just science. I'm
and
not
they
gonna argue
manage
it.
to get to a certain point where they get to like a the ladder,
Yeah.
and they're like climb across. We'll get to the door.
Yeah, yeah.
As they're doing that, Jacqueline McKenzie slips and falls into the water.
She does.
And it's like, okay, well, this isn't going to end well. And she does the classic, like, I don't want to die. Like,
Yeah.
you can't let me die. And we've already kind of established at this point, she's very much not on Team Susan.
No.
Because she's like,
You made this happen.
she calls her, you're a stupid bitch. She's
Yes.
like, you're the reason that this is all
This has all happened.
Jacqueline McKenzie falls, and then we know that the shark is there, and then she gets taken under.
Yeah.
You sort of
Because
think
they're actually like dodging the shark on the way up the
Yeah.
ladder, like it's going for them. They have to climb up
Yeah.
and stuff like
So
that.
she goes-
on all this scaffolding and
so
shit.
she goes under, and you sort of think, okay, like we've lost,
Rest in
we've
peace.
lost her. But no,
No, it's because that's a boring death
yeah,
in Deep Blue
and
Sea.
these sharks, they're little attention seekers. They want to make a good, you
Yeah.
know. So we get Jacqueline McKenzie like jumping out of the water, and at first you sort of think, oh my god, she's like
She's
mustered all of her
yeah.
strength. She jumped up. Nah, she's jumping up because she's in the mouth of a
She's in
shark
the mouth of a shark.
who is deciding to just like wave
her around
about.
like a candle in the wind.
As she's like, oh, help me. Tries to grab the hand and then gets pulled under.
Yeah.
And then it's like, are we going to get anything else? And then just blood rising in the water. And you're like,
that bubbly blood
and
too,
you're
like a frothy
and you're like,
blood.
shit. So,
Rest in peace, Janice.
is that her name? Janice. What a dumb name.
Because I wrote it down. Because I've got everyone's deaths here. But the best part about this is that not only does Janice die, we find out that Stellan still hasn't been eaten yet because we see his bloated dead corpse in the water.
Yeah, that's right.
That then gets fucking eaten after that. So poor Stellan has an absolute rough time.
Oh, yeah. And then it gets to like, we get like the second shark death scene.
Yes.
And I think, and this is like, to me, this is like classic.
Oh, no, someone does die before this.
Oh, does
Someone does, yeah, he does. Because I was reading the notes here. There is a scene that I absolutely loved that again involves who I believe is now the MVP of the movie, LL Cool J. When he makes his like video will.
Oh, right.
In the kitchen.
And he's
and it's like his 127 hours moment. He's like, well, I'm going to document all this. He's like, I want this to get out. And he's like, and I'm going to show you all how to make the perfect omelet.
Yeah.
I lost it. I thought it was great. And he's like, first you're going to need it. He's just he's like really like,
and he's like
this calming
and
thing
I think
for
it's
him.
like people want to make 3 eggs, but 2, this is a mistake.
He's so good. He I think he is genuinely my favorite part of the movie. But then we get back to the ladder after that, and this is when another human gets ripped in half before the shark
Right,
dies.
And this is when LL Cool J has now he then gets brought in with everybody.
Everyone meets up now.
He basically
so
saves
Thomas
them.
Jane, Saffron Burrows, Mike Rappaport, and now LL Cool J are in the group together.
And you also see here the kind of the Michael rapport with LL Cool J because they're in
That's
like, you know,
right.
they're in like the suit. There's the
wetsuits.
Wetsuits, and he like turns around to LL Cool J and he's like, "Would you zip me up?" And you sort of get that they've got like a friendship. Like,
they're good friends. They're workers on the boat. They're at the facility,
basically it's like, all right, Saffron, that's right. Saffron Burrows is like, I'm going to go off and get all of my research.
Yes.
That's on.
That's right.
That's on a nice little 1999 hard drive disc.
I love it. The little floppy disk.
So she's like, I'm going to go do that.
Because she didn't want to leave without her research. She's like, if this was all in vain, we may as well get the research.
And then Thomas J. and Michael Rappaport are like, all right, we'll go down to
I can't. They have to shut the water.
And like, I think they're opening. Aren't they like opening another door?
That's what they're opening the door that's going to get them to the top part of the facility.
So there's like they split off, and
which is always a great thing to do.
Yeah, but we get what I think is also classic, like late 90s man directed gratuitous half nudity.
Yes, right, because she takes her wetsuit off.
Which, I mean, it makes sense.
Because she's not, if she's taking the wetsuit off, she's now in her underwear. Yeah.
But like, so she's in her office. She's looking for the hard drive disc.
Yeah.
This is the show I was talking about where you see her like opening the cupboard. She's searching for it. And then in the background, you see a fin.
The fin go
just like slowly behind her. And like, you're thinking like, holy shit. Then she turns around, screams, but then realizes it's just like the model.
Yeah.
And you like go, and she's kind of
That's a good fake out.
And she's like, haha. And then she kind of like freaks herself out, calms down. But then you see an actual real fin, and she does that thing where she looks at it, and it's like that few seconds of, no, what do I do? And then it goes towards her, so she
frantically moves around.
Naturally drops the research.
She loses her research.
She loses her disc.
Bless.
And she realizes, hey, I might be able to electrocute this thing.
That's right.
So she takes her swimsuit off because she's like,
if it's rubber.
If I stand on it, I won't get it. So it's like, I get the thing behind it, but it's shot in a very
gratuitous way.
Because
it's very much showing a woman's body in the 90s.
Saffron Burrows has a great little figure on her. Yeah. She's a beautiful woman. I won't say she's in white, like tight white
underwear.
Yeah. She stands on the wetsuit. We get a classic.
It's very Ripley at the end of Alien.
And we get
a
classic shot from like above. So it's
of course, so you can see down the cleavage.
Yeah. So but she rips it out. It's showing towards her. Throws it in its mouth.
That's right.
Electrocutes it. And I'm like,
shark.
You know
Rest
what?
in peace.
Fucking girl power.
Girl power.
I'll take one for the shark.
Now, while she is electrocuting sharks and while Thomas Jane and Mark Rappaport are trying to open this door, unfortunately, I had to get another drink ready, Pete, because we lose our friend Michael Rappaport.
We really do.
And he gets torn the fucking half. He gets mutilated.
Yeah.
And his is even more upsetting because he's like almost gets away, and then his is like half his body gets ripped off.
And he's just like, and he's also just like a really like, he's a really innocent character.
He's just likable.
Yeah.
Nice guy. He's just there helping out.
He's just there helping out.
Just one of the good ones. Here's one of the good ones.
So he's the shot at the end of the teaser trailer.
Yes, right. Which makes complete
So we
sense.
we see him.
Rest in peace, Michael.
We see Thomas Jane like swimming. Thomas Jane turns around under the water and like looks freaked out. And Michael Rappaport's kind of like, "What's going on?" Turns around and you
What's the deal with sharks?
turns around and you just see the shark just like swim and then just eat him. And then what I think is like, this sounds really bad to be like the chef's kiss on top of his death scene is when you see his discarded leg.
Yeah,
like,
that's right.
Twitching.
It's
like,
gross as fuck, dude.
Yeah, so he's fucked. And now it's Thomas Jane, LL Cool J, and Saffron Burrows. And she's like, my research is done because
I've lost it all.
Because she's electrocuted. And she's
Yeah.
like, how's
Destroyed
she's,
it.
And then she's like, Scoggins. And he's like, no. So now they're like, all right, it's just the three of
we
us.
need to get out. But now we get the rallying of the troops that I think is the absolute fucking best.
Now, when you were watching this,
Yes.
in your mind, were you like, did you think another character was going to die?
Oh, totally. I was like, because I knew we weren't at like the climax yet.
Yeah.
I was like, we still need the face off
Did
between.
you-
Because at this point, actually, after the
Yeah.
Michael Rappaport death, I was like, it feels like the sharks aren't killing Thomas Jane because like they know him. You know what I mean? Like, because he's
Yeah.
out there with them.
Yeah.
I'm like, are they purposely? Okay, actually, I'll rephrase my answer. I didn't know if someone else was going to die, but I thought there was going to be some sort of face off with Thomas Jane that was going to be like the sharks weren't going to kill him because they were familiar with him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's why I was like, well, I guess if anyone's going to die, it'd be LL Cool J or Saffron Burrows, right? So that's how I felt going into the finale because LL Cool J got me hyped when he does the Lord's Prayer. He was like, "Our Father art in heaven, make us the meanest motherfuckers there are." And I was like, dude, I just want to start saying, I think that should be my Lord's Prayer.
And it's also kind of like, the black guys kind of always die in horror movies.
It's just the trope.
So, and then also, because the sharks are smart, they're like, we've purposely flooded this place because we know we can.
That's right.
Because they like, we know then we can swim over the top of the
facility.
facility.
Yeah, that's it. So as they make their kind of, I guess, final ascent,
Yeah.
they're at the top of the facility now, and then the water is starting to come up and over there.
And they know that they'll have their little like the air packs with them.
Yes.
And they sort of know, all right, we'll let the air packs go because that'll distract the sharks.
That'll distract the sharks, yeah.
So then we get the sort of final showdown
It's some smart shit.
between Final Shark and LL Cool J, Saffron Burrows, and Thomas Jane. Now, obviously,
Sorry, no, I just wrote one of my notes. You keep going. Sorry.
obviously, we know that there's probably another death to happen.
That's what I would assume, right?
It is a bit of a surprise that it's Saffron Burrows.
Yes. Big time.
Because she was meant to
Survive.
live.
Right.
And test audiences were like, she's the reason all of this shit happened.
Right.
We don't like her. She needs to
She
be
needs
punished.
to die. Ooh, how did Saffron Burrows take that when they had to reshoot
So they were
the
like,
ending?
all right, we need to go back and reshoot. So initially, she's like, all right, even though this animal is smart,
Yeah.
she's like, she's still just an animal.
Yeah.
So she cuts her hand purposely, jumps into the
the
water,
water.
and is basically like, come and get me.
Come get me.
The shark will
Yep.
come close to me. I'll be able to then jump back up onto the
In time.
the platform.
The platform she's
Thomas
jumped from,
Jane can shoot it.
can kill it.
She doesn't get back on the platform because the little ladder breaks
No,
off.
the little ladder breaks. And before that, LL Cool J gets bitten.
Yes, he does.
He gets bitten by a fucking shark. So I'm like, shit, LL Cool J is going to fucking die.
But
he survives.
He stabs it in the fucking
with
eye
a cross.
with a cross.
Praise be.
Pretty great.
You know what I say? So yeah, that's to me where I was like the fake out of his death. I was like, oh shit, maybe they'll all be okay.
They'll all be okay. But so she jumps in the water. She isn't able to get out, and
Yes.
it's a case of like, well, she's
like
fucked,
human bait,
and then
right?
she
Yeah.
gets fucking eaten.
And she gets absolutely fucked because
Like,
the whole time it's happening is there's the shark that's trying to batter through the fence to get through to
it's
her.
like, yeah,
And then the device that they create is a spear gun with a rope that's connected to the electrical thing that they're going to blow,
they'll trip and
just blow the shark up with. So yeah, Susan dies. So firstly,
Susan,
Saffron Burrows, rest in peace. Goodness gracious.
but
because Thomas Jane's in the water because he can't get the shot, it's up to LL Cool J, who survives, to aim and shoot and get it. But
he doesn't do it well.
he doesn't do it well, which means the shark gets shot, but also Thomas Jane's fucking leg gets shot.
So this always kind of bothered me.
Okay, because I loved it.
No, I loved it, but every time I rewatch it,
Yeah.
and it's like because it goes through Thomas Jane's leg
Into the
out
shark.
the other side into the shark.
Yes. Yeah.
So when the shark is like swimming out of the fence,
Yes.
and Thomas Jane and then he grabs
should
the
have-
fence, it
right,
should have
ripped his leg off,
It should
right.
have ripped his whole leg off.
Agreed. Or at least ripped like out of his leg. Yeah, a chunk out of
But
his
you
leg.
know what? I can't ask for realism in this kind of movie.
I gave up on realism in the first 10 minutes.
But at the end, when we have Thomas Jane and LL Cool J kind of just like basking in the afterglow.
so good. Because like to put that in the context,
Yeah.
they blow up they blow up the
a fucking
fucking
shark.
shark. It's so good. So yeah.
Blow the shark up. They're sitting there kind of like how he's like, you meant to shoot the shark and you shot me. Nice. But
fucking love it.
that scene,
Right.
Saffron Burrows filmed that scene with them.
So she's technically
So
in
she's
that.
so they digitally removed her.
Oh my god.
So there's one point where Thomas Jane his eyeline matches up with something that isn't there.
Oh,
And it's because that's Saffron Burrows. And I
Right.
think there's a line that like LL Cool J says like, that's what I'm talking about.
Right. Yeah.
And it kind of doesn't make a lot of sense with what else has been said.
going on,
So
right? Yeah.
part of me feels like Saffron Burrows had like a line
Right.
and he's responding to that.
Okay.
When you watch the film and LL Cool J says that's what I'm talking about, Thomas Jane takes his leg out of the water and it's kind of like, okay, that's what I'm talking about. Like we're safe now.
We've destroyed
But
the shark. Yeah.
when you know that Saffron Burrows was meant to be there,
it kind of
it
changes.
kind of feels
the-
like I feel like she said something and he's like responding to that. But they
There we
were just
go.
like, but yeah, test audiences were just like, nah, she's the villain, kill her off.
Hey.
And she was a good sport and she's like, all right.
I'm not going to be mad about that because I love that it was Thomas Jane and LL Cool J at the end. Two of my favorite characters.
And then in like perfect timing, the skeleton crew come back.
yeah, everyone's like, what the fuck happened? And then even better perfect timing, LL Cool J's end credits song.
Deepest, bluest, shark's fin.
So fucking good.
Banger of a
Listen to the
song.
whole thing. I watched this on streaming. I listened to the whole goddamn song.
Banger of a song.
What a movie. I enjoyed the absolute shit out of it. This to me is the definition of motherfucking shark movie.
Motherfucking shark.
Here's to Deep Blue Sea.
Here's to
I'll
Deep
have on Deep
Blue
Blue Sea.
fucking sea.
I think the drinking game's gone out. I'm just drinking.
I think
now.
we're just drinking. But we're mainly drinking when we talk about.
Yeah, rest in pieces. That's what we're mainly talking about. Then we had a couple of shark movies in between, but not a shark movie that kind of took the world by a storm or maybe by tornado
Hey.
like this film did. So Sharknado,
Shark fucking NATO.
sci-fi original, came out in 2013. Pete, this will shock you. I know you just read it, but the critic score for Sharknado is 74%.
Yeah, it is.
Now, it's only 19 reviews,
Yeah.
which kind of, makes sense.
Makes sense.
Audience score is 33.
Which is
on Rotten
funny
Tomatoes.
because the audience, you're the reason that this movie was as successful as it was.
And also spawned 5 sequels.
because you kept watching it. So apparently when it debuted,
Yes.
the review the viewership was like
So the
was okay.
So the viewership was okay, but it was the trailer that got everyone
Yeah.
hooked. And Sci-Fi, I don't know if it was Sci-Fi, but I think Fathom Events in the United States did a one night only exclusive cinema showing,
Made like $200,000.
which is a lot of fucking money. Like,
And then a lot of
like triple its budget.
And then a lot of like actors
Yes.
started talking about it, like Olivia Wilde, I think Kristen Bell
Yeah.
did. Corey Monteith did.
I was like, I don't know how more, but I want to get. But
you know what?
it was the last thing he tweeted
It was the
before he
last
died.
thing that Corey Monteith tweeted about before he died. It's really fucking weird.
It's a weird thing, but then it's like that's Sharknado for you.
Yeah,
like the cultural phenomenon that was Sharknado.
I won't say what else
I've had about
to
6
say.
jokes go through my head.
Yeah.
I'm not canceling myself.
But yeah,
yet.
so Sharknado, sci-fi, like we say sci-fi like SYFY.
Yeah, the channel. The channel and who are notorious for making dreadful movies.
And basically, like, think about it this way. Like, so Guardians of the Galaxy comes out, sci-fi will make like...
Sci-Fi and The Asylum are both two companies.
They'll make like Lords of the World, and it'll be
Lords
like...
of the Universe.
And it'll be like Guardians of the Galaxy, but just like the...
Like from Wish.
Yeah.
This is... Yeah. This is... So Sharknado.
Yeah. But like, and then also, okay, and you look at the main actors of Sharknado, and you have Ian Ziering
Yep.
from Beverly Hills 90210.
Tara Reid.
Reid, who at one point seemed quite promising and now not so much. But you know what? I still have a soft spot for her.
John Hurd.
John Hurd, Home Alone's dad. Jason Simmons.
Jason with 2 A's.
Who was the hot Australian guy from Baywatch back in the early 90s.
Wow.
Who keeps his Australian accent in this.
Yeah, I was confused by his accent at a couple of points, but bless him. Bless Jason.
So I obviously remember hearing about Sharknado and just being like, oh, and then everyone was like, it was made intentionally bad. And I was like, okay, that makes me feel maybe a little bit better.
It is bad. It is a bad movie.
It's bad. Like
it's terrible.
It's bad.
But I have a lot of fun with this movie. And I saw it back in 2013 when it first became available, as we discussed in the last episode.
He owns it.
I own it on Blu-ray.
He owns it on Blu-ray.
I got it from back when I worked at the video shop. I have an affinity for movies that are like, when someone's like, oh my gosh, it's so bad, it's good. Like, I'm like, oh no, like, it's so terrible, it's good. It's why The Room is genuinely one of my favorite movies. Like, I just have an affinity for these films.
Yeah.
Sharknado is definitely on that list.
Yeah.
Now, did it run too long with the meme? Absolutely.
Yeah.
But Sharknado, the first film, is a lot of fun. It's awful.
It's awful.
And I've got a list of things about how awful it is.
Awful.
I had it on while it was a Saturday morning, so like Rhiannon was home.
I'm just gonna drink because it's awful.
Just drink to forget to drink the pain away. And Rhiannon was like watching parts of it, and she was laughing her ass off. She was like, I just can't believe someone would make this. I was like, but this is their whole thing. Is like, it is supposed to be so intentionally bad.
Yeah.
But as you pointed out when we were talking about it earlier, there is a weird sincerity to it.
Yeah. So I was surprised at, even though this film is made intentionally bad.
Yes.
And it's got its tongue fucking right in its cheek. Probably poking through the other side.
Yeah.
It does take itself oddly seriously, which I learned that the sequels don't.
No, like, okay, so just for example, the sequel is called Sharknado 2, the second one.
Yeah.
One of the sequels deals with time travel. They go back in time to the prehistoric era to stop Sharknadoes from happening.
Yeah.
One of them, Sharknado 4, I believe, Global Swarming, is about Ian Ziering, Tara Reid going to NATO to discover that Sharknadoes were created by global warming and how they can stop global warming to stop the Sharknadoes.
Right. Isn't there one called The Fourth Awakens?
This fourth Sharknado movie is called The Fourth Awakens, and the poster is a direct ripoff of Star Wars: The Force Awakens poster. Right. The best one is that Sharknado 5, which I believe is the last one, is just called The Last One.
The Last One.
So they're very, like, they became more so tongue in cheek as they went along. But yeah, this one definitely has a little bit of it's like also trying to be a horror movie.
Yeah.
And not very well.
Not very well. Like, I put this on and was like, you know what? Let's fucking go. Because I love a bad movie like everybody.
Yes.
Well, not just everybody.
No, but like, you like watching something that's like entertainingly bad.
Yeah. And also,
totally.
I'm
all
one of those,
movies are created
I'm
equal.
also one of those people that when watches a bad movie, I can actually like people that see, like, I don't know, Black Adam and are like, it's the worst movie ever made. I'm like, it's fucking not.
It's not. No.
Ben
Absolutely
Shapiro
not.
watching Barbie
Oh my
being like,
God.
it's a
Did
fucking
you see the tweet about that where it's like they finally made a movie about 12-inch men with no genitals and he still didn't like it? That's fucking funny. That's a good joke.
Yeah, so he's obviously not like Barbie, and it's like you're a piece of shit. Sharknado, like if someone's like Sharknado is one of the worst films you've ever seen, you'd go, yeah, okay, like I get that, but
Totally, yeah.
it's in that weird space of like it's made intentionally bad, but it's also just really fucking bad.
It's just bad. It's literally just terrible.
Like the the acting is
Awful. The
acting is awful. The effects are awful. There's
no story.
And
there's no story.
There were so many things that I'm like, this shouldn't irritate me as much as it does.
But it did.
But it really fucking does.
I'm intrigued to break this down. For those who don't know what Sharknado is, well, Pete
you tell him, Nick, because
Pete takes a second
to
prepare himself. When a freak hurricane swamps Los Angeles, nature's deadliest killer rules sea, land, and air as thousands of sharks terrorize the waterlogged populace. That is already that's smarter than the film itself. This movie kicks right off, and the first thing you see is sharks in the water that get sucked up by a tornado. That's the first image. You don't see any title cards. You don't see production company logos. The first image you see is sharks getting sucked out of the water by a tornado. And I was in. Now, the first opening scene with people is on this Russian fishing boat where a Chinese investor comes on, and it's about shark. They're doing shark fin negotiations for shark fin soup.
See, and like, but it seems like there's something,
and it's
but there seems like there's something kind of serious being like, oh, we shouldn't be harvesting shark fins. We shouldn't be harvesting animals. I knew that, but then they just.
No, yeah, that's so. Yeah, it's almost like the movie's commentary is like, wow, these are bad guys because they do shark fin.
Because they want to eat.
They want to eat soup. But it's so obvious that it's a American man doing a Russian accent. And it's so funny because the boat's like rocking and gets hit hard once. And the Chinese man's like unsettled by it. And the Russian man goes, they're called waves. They do that from time to time. And I was like, I love terrible dialogue.
Oh,
and then
this
when they
movie
go outside,
has a fucking ton of
when they go outside on the boat, it is so obvious that they are filming on a clear sunny day.
Yeah.
That they've just grey tinted everything. And it is fake waves and it is fake rain coming down. And that is a lot of them. There are shots in the movie where it will be pissing down rain and then it'll cut to another action shot where it's no rain at all. And there's a clear sky in the distance.
And then
it's fantastic.
And then it's like, obviously on the boat, you could just imagine these people on the side just like pushing it. But then it's like, look, we just need to show that it's on the water. So it has this awful CGI of like a boat.
Yeah.
And then like, you like look at it and be like,
the fakest water you have ever seen.
But then sometimes you're like, I don't know if the boat is fake and the water's real.
Or
the water's fake and the boat's real, or the boat and the water are both fake. Like it's
the mystery of Sharknado, baby.
It's fucked.
But we also get our first death on that boat.
We do indeed.
So rest in peace, Russian man.
Your accent hardly knew ye.
We hardly knew your accent. We also keep going because we get two more deaths on that scene as well. This is for 2 and 3. I just read my notes. I was like, oh no. I was like,
so who else? The
Chinese man dies, and then one of the boat staff die as well.
And it's also like sometimes they're not even getting eaten by sharks. They're just getting like a shark just lands on them.
Oh my god, yeah. I fucking forgot how good that is. Oh my god. Well, in for a good time, not a long time. Now,
I apologize if you can hear my burping.
No, that's all right. It's what they signed
weird.
up
It's
for.
like weird ASMR.
That was a fake burp. I'm sorry. I lied to you all. Now we go to Los Angeles. The boat is the opening scene. Now we're in Los Angeles,
where we have
Cassandra Scarbo, maybe,
who has her name is Nova.
Nova in the film.
She has like a great like raspy voice.
She does, yeah.
She's
like a take no shit sort of.
She's probably
character.
one of the better actors in the film.
I would argue the best.
She's like...
I would argue the best.
Yeah.
And in fairness, that's also saying a lot.
Yeah.
That's giving her a lot of praise. It's like one of those things where it's like, oh, you're just like the best of the bad. You know what I mean? Like, but she's a bikini waitress at this bar in which we see that she's been bitten by a shark previously.
The most perfect indentation
it's like
it looks like tiny fucking boomerangs in her leg.
it does. It honestly does. It looks like more she has gills on her thigh than it's actually a fucking shark.
And
bite,
you know what? A part of you feels like I wouldn't be surprised if she's the leader of the fucking sharks and she's led them here. And
my
spare
God.
her. Can you imagine?
That could have come up in the sequels. I didn't watch them all, but I think I know what I'm doing.
But what is probably one of the most on the nose names for casting?
Yeah,
Ian Ziering or Ian Ziering. I'm not entirely sure what it is.
I'd be Ian. Yeah,
I'm going to say he's aged very well from Beverly Hills 90210.
Yeah, mate,
he's still a very attractive man.
Rooster, yeah.
But he is a professional surfer who now owns the bar.
Yes.
And his name is Finn.
Finn Shepherd.
His fucking name is Finn.
His name is Finn, and he can surf.
He can surf.
And he lives in Los Angeles.
Well, the movie likes to make us think he can surf, but green screen says differently.
Green screen said very differently, which is also funny because he's out surfing when we're introduced to him during the opening credits. He's taking someone out surfing with him.
Yeah.
Someone who we have to also point out dies.
They do.
When they're eaten by sharks. Because this movie does not fuck around.
This
movie starts killing people on the beach almost instantly.
But you know what?
Rest in peace, surfer.
But you know what I fucking love? And it's probably the most random thing. So there's a shot at the beginning of the film that shows this girl putting on her wetsuit, looking at the ocean like, oh, I can't wait to get in there.
That's right.
It takes, they show that
fucking long.
It takes her like 10 minutes to put, like, they show her and they cut back to her like 10 minutes later and she's still putting on her fucking wetsuit. And then she gets in the water and then it's like immediately everyone just fucking panics because the sharks come.
The sharks panic.
And this is where I have one of my first major fucking gripes with this movie.
Okay, go.
Because you see people in the water. And I get that sharks can swim like relatively close.
Yeah.
But if someone is standing in water...
Yes.
And the water goes up to their ankles.
Yes.
They can't physically get taken under.
Dragged under by
the shark because the shark can't be in water that's up to someone's ankles. It really fucking irritated me so much that you saw people like literally just like going, oh, and falling down. And then when people are yelling about the sharks coming, people just take their time in the fucking water.
Yeah, they really just do the slow wade out.
It made me fucking crazy. And I know that a movie like this shouldn't, like, because it's intentionally made this way. But sometimes I'm like, can't you just put in the little tiniest bit of effort? Just a little bit. They did not. Anthony C. Ferrante.
Well, do you know who wrote the script? I just looked. His name is Thunder Levin.
Thunder Levin?
Thunder.
All right. I'm going to do something that I never usually do. Oh. Fuck you, Thunder Levin. Read a book
about sharks and water.
I was going to say learn like geography. That doesn't make any sense.
Biology.
Learn biology. Learn gravity.
Aqualife.
Learn just...
Go to an aquarium.
Just learn how to write a fucking good movie.
Well, while we're here, 2 more people die in that beach scene, so... Rest in peace to them.
Oh, excuse me.
You're excused.
Thank you, Nick.
So the best part about that scene as well, though, is that Finn...
Oh, there's the best part?
...is paddling right next to a shark.
Yes. That also fucked me off
he
too.
Doesn't see. Like, the shark fin is right next to him and he does not see it. So,
but he gets saved by Jason with 2 A's.
On the jet ski.
The sexy Australian.
He jet ski attacks a shark, which is fucking incredible.
Fucking loved when
I'm loving this passion.
When I was like, one of the things that I did love. So when he's on the jet ski and Ian Ziering's like Finn, we'll call him Finn because that's his name. He's swimming and he literally just like grabs the surfboard and just like goes just boom.
He just bonks the shark.
Boop in his face, and then the shark's like
Bonk you.
swims away, and
You
it's
go
like
in a horny
that,
jail.
I'm
Bonk.
like, that wouldn't work.
Jesus Christ. It's
Not
so
a
fucking
Sharknado
good.
shark. That wouldn't work.
It's so fucking good.
Oh, God damn it.
But not only is this movie awful on the logic front of how marine life works.
Yeah.
It's also awful at establishing relationships because Nova, who we think, who is actually portrayed to us as a strong, independent woman, tries to hit on Finn, who goes, "Are you too old for me, Finn?" And he goes, "I'm your boss."
Yeah.
And we're like, where did this come from for Nova?
Yes.
Where did that come from? Are you just trying to force comedic romance?
And then it only makes it worse when we're introduced to April Wexler.
Yes. Yeah.
We'll get to that. We've jumped a few ahead.
Because we got to introduce John Hurd.
John
really
Hurd,
quick
who
as
it made me sad to see him in this.
poor George.
Like, John Hurd, it's the dad from Home Alone. And he's done other films that are not shit.
Not Sharknado.
But for some reason, he was like, probably like, hey, I can make a couple bucks doing this. All I have to do is act disgusting and drunk.
So he's a sleazy fucker who's like slapping Nova's bum and shit.
And for some reason,
Getting drunk.
And she's also just like, doesn't take offense
She's
to
kind
it.
of like, don't fucking do that, but it's not like a get out of my bar
Yeah, it's
sort
like,
of thing. You know what I mean?
don't
Like,
do that to me.
yeah, it's so
like, it's gross.
but that's the thing. Like, what Nova
I had
becomes,
faith in you, Nova, and you fucked it.
Well, and she doesn't fuck it later on because arguably she doesn't fuck George, that's for sure. She doesn't fuck Finn, but she does fuck up some sharks.
She does. And
And
then there's also the weird, we'll talk about it later. There's a weird thing
Another
with,
weird
with,
relationship,
with
a character who comes up.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
But it's just weird. But obviously, the Sharknado is now a massive threat to Los Angeles, and they must go inland. But Finn has an ex-wife.
He does have an ex-wife.
He still has a bit of an affinity for her. That's April Wexler.
And
played
why
by
wouldn't you have an affinity for her when it's Tara Reid?
Oh, bless Tara Reid. Bless her soul.
Look, I'm just going to go off on a quick
Yeah,
tangent
please. Okay.
because there was a time. God, there was a time when.
Yes.
There was a time when we loved Tara Reid. Now,
Yes, we did.
Bunny Lebowski.
Yes.
Fucking great role in a movie called
The Big Lebowski. Who would have thought?
She was one of those actresses in a really tiny role that you were just like, you're going to be somebody. I like you.
You're going to be somebody.
You've got spunk.
You're going to be a contender.
Then, Urban Legend.
Great movie.
Cruel Intentions.
Great movie.
American Pie.
Great movie.
Josie and the Pussycats.
Never seen it, actually.
We had this string of like, hey, you're going to be somebody. But then
You're going to be somebody, kid.
she then took on a few roles that you're like, that's not great.
No.
And she she got plastic surgery and she went to a red carpet event and her tit was,
Oh, I've seen
out.
that photo, yes.
and she didn't know.
Not to incriminate myself, but I've seen
And
that photo.
nobody really told her, which I also think is really fucked.
That is bad, yeah.
That's the bad thing. That's one of those things where people look back and just go, regardless of how we feel about Tara Reid, someone should have stepped up and been like, hey, your tit's hanging out, and
Yeah.
we didn't take a million fucking photos and post it.
Yeah.
And that caused, obviously, a lot of psychological things for her.
Yeah.
So that's really fucking sad.
It's awful, yeah.
She also did a film called Alone in the Dark,
Can't say I've seen it.
directed by Uwe Boll, who is known for
Can't say I've heard of
making
him.
awful films.
Especially video game to movie
Yeah.
adaptations, yeah.
And it didn't help that...
Can I quickly tangent on Uwe Boll?
Yes, you can indeed.
Who, my favorite fucking Uwe Boll story is that he got so mad at critics that he challenged the critic who lambasted him the most to a boxing match and had a fucking fight with one of his critics.
That's awesome.
It's fucking great. He destroyed the critic because
he did.
Uwe Boll is
I mean, he's a giant. Yeah, yeah.
he's a dirt, but
He's a dirt, yeah,
that's
yeah.
fucking hilarious.
That's
And I'll fight anyone that I've given a negative review to, which is not very often. I kind of like most
won't.
things. Anyway, Tara Reid.
But yeah, so she did a movie called Alone in the Dark. That movie was awful. Her performance wasn't great.
Yes.
And there's a city, or I think it's a city, or it's a state called Newfoundland.
Newfoundland, yeah.
And she pronounced
Newfoundland.
Pronounced it Newfoundland. And Uwe
I
Boll,
think it's the other way around. Newfoundland, that was pronounced Newfoundland.
either way,
Yes, sorry. Semantics.
Uwe Boll didn't correct her and left it in the film, and she got ripped apart for it.
Right, yeah.
And then I think that people kind of realizing when she's not under a good direction, she's not a great actress. And then the whole plastic surgery thing and the way that her then general perception was kind of stopped her from getting major roles
And shit, yeah.
And then it really wasn't until 2012 with American Reunion that she had a film that was like in the cinemas, but also because she'd been in the sequels, it was kind of like we needed her in that.
I can't remember how she is in that movie.
She's fine.
She's fine. She's not in it that much, is she?
Yeah. I just like...
I like American Reunion.
I just have this like soft spot for her because I'm like, she in American Pie, Urban Legend, Cruel Intentions, Big Lebowski, she has this fresh-faced, like really innocent comedic beauty about her.
Right.
And it sucks that she was
been
kind of
taken away almost.
And it was also, she was like a slave to what I think she thought she needed to do to stay that way.
To stay relevant, yeah.
And then you see her in this and you're just like,
Look,
Thunder Levin's not a great writer. Anthony Cifuente's not a great director.
I think
and
as well she knew what she was getting into with a movie called Sharknado.
She's done interviews for this and she's completely aware
totally.
of what she's in.
Same as Ian Ziering.
So for that you go, I give you props because you know.
She just took the payday.
Yeah.
Good on her.
And you're like, you know that you're not in a good film.
But she also got 6 movies out of it. She's in all 6 of them. So, you know.
But in this movie, she's not great.
But like we said...
But you
it's not great in a sea of people who aren't great.
But
so
you don't need
fine.
to be. But anyway.
Do you know who's worse than Tara Reid in this fucking movie? The cunt who plays her boyfriend. Oh my God.
I'm going to pre-drink to his death.
But yeah, you know, this is a celebratory drink because when he fucking died, it was great. But he delivers one of my favorite fucking lines in the entire film. So I should say before we get to that,
I have so many issues with this scene as well.
Oh, trust me, so do I. But we've skipped ahead because so basically Ian Ziering wants to get to April. But it's almost like he's got to get through like the next level of the fucking video game before he gets there.
Can I also just quickly say,
please,
when he rings her to tell her, hey.
Yes.
I think you and my daughter should get to like safety.
Oh my God.
She is immediately just like, what are you talking about? Why are you calling me? Leave me alone. Like
she's angry immediately.
Like it's just like, okay, I get that you guys had clearly a bad divorce.
A bad breakup,
but
man.
If he's calling to say, hey,
you seen the fucking Sharknadoes on the TV?
And she's like, what are you talking about? It's completely sunny here. But even if your ex, who you don't particularly care for, if they rang you and were like, hey, I want to check on the safety of you and my kid, you'd probably be like, you know what? I might hear you out. She's just immediately angry at him. So immediately I'm just like, April, why are you making it hard for me to like you?
And making it hard for the audience to like her, but she also complains that her house is flooding. And she goes, is it the plumbing? And he's like, it's the ocean.
And then before we get to her scene, there's the scene in the middle, which you'll talk about. Because I have a major gripe with her scene. With
her scenes especially? Okay, cool. Because the scene that comes before that is Nova, Finn, and George all get in the car. By the way, George is just in the car. He's drunk already.
Yeah.
So he's
he got into the car. I don't know how he got in because Finn unlocks it. Yeah. And George is already in there. They're like, where's George? And they're like, oh, here he is. And he's just like, what? Like, it's really weirdly like comedic.
It's super weird. But then the sharks start bursting through the bar windows. They're like, let's get out of here.
Yeah.
And they shoot, I think it's Finn who shoots the gas cylinder that blows them all up.
She's fucking brandishing a shotgun.
Yeah, the whole time, which is great.
But I love how she's like in the car and the gun's just like pointed and they're just like, maybe just ease up because she's just like sitting there being like, who do I shoot next? I mean, I'd probably be Nova.
She's very trigger happy.
I'd be like, let me fucking shoot a shot.
Let me shoot some shit. Yeah. And then as they're driving down.
Oh, isn't Jason with the AA? Isn't he in the car?
He's in the car with them too. Yes, he is. And as they're driving through, like the pier gets destroyed, we get the amazing shot of the Ferris wheel breaking the pier and crashing into a building.
Which in a
amazing CGI.
Which in a more expensive, better looking film would be
scene.
That would be a really great scene.
Set piece.
But
this
here,
is 13 seconds
but
of
here
movie.
it's shit.
It's so shit. It's so shit. But then I wish I wrote down who said this line. But someone sincerely in that group goes, "We're all refugees now."
Yes. I think it's Jason. I'm pretty sure it's Jason Simmons who says it. And I remember when that line happened, I was like,
"Fuck me."
I remember that line being like, I have to talk about this. Yes, we're all refugees now. You're fucking not. You're really fucking not.
It's such a shit line.
And it's like
it's so bad.
And it's like it's almost like Thunder Levin was like, how do I make this like
I need to add some dramatic weight to this
and
moment.
like you can say so many other things besides we're all refugees now. Did he write the other ones?
He did. He did indeed. He absolutely did. He also wrote a movie called Mutant Vampire Zombies from the Hood.
And Zombie Tidal Wave.
And Geo Disaster.
And Megalodon.
Which obviously would have come out at the exact same time as the
Probably
came out. So
wow.
I don't know who. I just wrote Rest in Peace number 7, so someone else dies in this scene. So
that would be someone in the tunnel, in the bridge, someone?
Probably. And then Finn gets his like moral compass. Is like, we can't just sit back and watch this happen. What are you gonna fucking do?
That's one thing. Like,
what are you gonna stop the weather?
Like you have one shotgun, and you're a fucking surfer. You're not
Stay in your lane, mate.
You're not remotely capable of doing anything.
You're not remotely capable of doing a shit.
Surprise, surprise, your girlfriend's holding the shotgun.
Whoa, I mean,
so you're
allegedly
just
girlfriend.
Well, yeah,
she's too old for him. He's the boss.
Which is gross.
Which is gross. And then, that's right. Oh my god, smashing.
We're just remembering all.
I'm looking at some of these notes. I'm like, I fucking forgot this happened. But sharks smash through the car window.
Yeah, they do. And they save the fucking dog.
They save the dog, but in the process,
and more people get taken under in really fucking shallow water.
Yes. We don't see them getting eaten by sharks, which is fine. But
George dies.
George does die.
Rest in peace.
Boy George. Boy George. I just realized what I said. Boy George. Rip George. Now, this is where, I understand your annoyance at the logic of how shallow sharks can swim without being detected.
Thank you, Nick.
This is my issue with the logic, is that Finn has an ability to time waves that are crashing onto a freeway somehow and time driving at the brakes of the wave, so a massive wave will come and he drives, then another massive wave will come and he drives, and he gets down the freeway.
But it's because,
love it.
It's because he's a surfer.
He's a surfer, man. Finn just knows the waves, bro.
And you know who knows waves better than a surfer? A refugee.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
We're at that point of the episode.
We are.
They get to April's house. He gets to Tara Reid's house. And then it's just a macho dick measuring contest between Finn and Colin.
So what fucks me off initially?
Old Colin.
They get to the front door. Now the rain is now pouring down.
Yes, yep. I know exactly what you're about to say.
So she opens the door.
I know exactly what you're about to say.
Tara Reid's like, what the fuck are you doing here? So she's already like, and then out of a fucking manhole. Is it a manhole?
Literally out of a manhole. It's out of a sewer.
A shark jumped because he tells her briefly about what's fucking going on.
Yeah.
She's like, I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
The shark comes out of the manhole. Ian Ziering, Finn, turns around, shoots it. Then they go into the house. Now, Tara Reid, April, sees this shot happen.
Yeah.
And then when the boyfriend, Colin, who's just a fucking dick.
He's a douchebag. But he has my favorite line in the movie, but continue.
But he's like, what are you doing here? Blah, blah, blah. Finn explains what's going on.
Yeah.
And April,
Yep.
who saw them shoot a shark out of a fucking manhole, still acts like what Finn is saying is ridiculous.
Crazy, right?
Like
she's like, Finn, what the fuck
like
are you
she's
on about?
never just
Like,
been like, hey, did you just shoot a shark out of a manhole? Because I think I saw it. Like, doesn't acknowledge it.
she doesn't know. She doesn't know.
And then Colin, the fucking dick pissing contest happens.
yes.
But then we then hear about how he's never there for his daughter and all that bullshit.
Yes, yeah. There's like she made like April starts making it real personal. Colin goes in hard when he says that.
And then Nova's like, "Wait, you have a kid?" And you're just like,
I'm like,
"Are
whoa.
you guys?" But you're guys, have you guys talked?
Yeah, like do you not
she's
know
like,
anything
like
about
she
Finn?
she finds out that
Our
he's
hero?
Yeah, she's like, I didn't know you had an ex-wife, and I didn't know you
He
had a
a
kid. And I get,
Sorry, let alone 2 kids.
Yes.
By the way.
and I get that as a boss and an employee.
yeah, you're not like opening your heart and
But
soul,
it kind of seems like they have a friendship.
right? They've known each other for a while.
So it's kind of like
Nova doesn't seem like someone who's just come to LA. Like she seems like an LA gal.
and like it. So it kind of seems like I would be telling people like, "Hey, tell me about your." I'd be like, you know what? I'm here. Like I've got an ex. Like it just seems like something he would talk about.
It does. But he didn't.
and he didn't.
Because we needed more shock reveals.
We needed
for this
more
film.
shock reveals.
If a Sharknado wasn't enough, Finn having a daughter was supposed to be the shock of the film.
And then not just a daughter, but a fucking son.
A son too, who will pop up later in the chat.
But anyway, that was my main gripe about the fact that that's one of my first gripes about that is when she sees what happens and then just acts as if it doesn't happen.
nothing is totally.
So now we've got Colin and Finn. This is where you talk about.
This is where Colin is absolutely out dicking Finn right now, and Finn's like, "You've got to come with us. Like it is not safe here." And then Colin looks at him dead in the eye, and with the most sincerity goes, "You know what? And if there is a problem, Beverly Hills Emergency Services are second to none." And I lost my shit. That is the best fucking line of the movie because not only is it pro emergency services, it is the most forced long line read I've ever heard in a film ever.
Because then you also know that you're like, wait a minute, this kind of sounds like something someone would say
second to none.
right before they fucking die.
And you know what? Rest in peace, Colin.
You know what? Don't
Just
rest in peace, Colin.
in peace, my
drip,
friend.
Colin.
Just
drip, Colin.
That's good. I like that.
Drip, Colin.
A shark bursts through the window and takes Colin.
Yeah, he does.
You were one of the bad ones, my friend.
So
Now,
then
they have to avoid this shark that's trying to eat them, so they use a bookcase and they're jamming a fucking bookcase into this shark's mouth.
and you know what?
Hilarious.
You know what I also love about this house?
Yes.
It has glamour photos of Tara
It
Reid.
does. It totally does. It is
Sorry.
fantastic.
April.
It
It has glamour photos of
was
April.
Tara Reid as April.
It has glamour photos of April everywhere.
Everywhere.
And
She's the only person who has a photograph in this
And
house.
I love that she's the kind of person who's like, I've got 2 kids and apparently a boyfriend that I love.
Yeah, apparently.
I'm not going to have photos of any
Apparently.
of them. I want to have photos of me wearing black dresses with necklaces. I love it. I salute
love
that.
it.
That is the gay way. I'd have fucking glamour
is the
photos of
gay
me
way.
too. But then they're in this house with this shark.
They bookcase it.
They bookcase it. There's blood in the water because Colin's been eaten to death.
Drip.
And then
They get April out, and then we get
this
to
is the other part that shits me.
okay. Is the next scene that shits you, or how they get out? Of
How
the
they? Oh no! So they're out of. Just go, and then I'll tell you when I'm gonna.
because the next scene, like I've said about 6 times already, is my favorite scene of the film.
So they get out of the house.
Yes, the school bus scene.
No, so before the
Before the
school bus, because
scene.
they get out of the house. He tells April and his daughter and Jason with a double A because he was in there,
Yeah, he was in there. Yep.
and Nova. He
And
tells them
Nova.
to get out of the house, and then the next shot, they're outside of the house.
Yep.
And the water then busts through the door and the window, and the house crumbles and goes down the hill.
Totally. Yep. Yeah, that shot's great. Brilliant.
What fucking
No
irritates
fault with that.
me is because, all right, when you got out of the house,
Yeah.
how come none of the water came out when you opened the door? That's And I know, look, I get it. I'm taking things really fucking literally. I get it.
But pizza marine.
But you know what? If you're leaving the house and you open a door, whole bunch of water should have gone out.
Whole bunch of water should have come out.
And that shark would have gone out with you.
It just should have. Well, the shark should have gone out.
And then the shark would technically kind of be in shallow enough water that it's not going to be able to do anything. And then you shoot it in the fucking head with the shotgun that you have with you.
Do you know what I'm starting to realize about Sharknado too? Is that there's so many sharks that you just can't form an emotional connection with any of these sharks.
Yeah,
you know
it's kind of like...
It's not like Deep Blue Sea where I had 3. It's not like the Meg where I have, spoiler alert, 2. There's too many sharks.
There's too many sharks.
And I just can't
There's too many
sympathize with the sharks.
There's too many sharks in this ocean.
Literally. Anyway, so the fucking school bus scene.
We should drink all the time.
We should. If we did drinking for every episode, I don't know what would come out.
I think I'd be really angry about really like tiny little things.
Yeah, I'm starting to get like, you really broke down Sharknado more than I did.
Like,
and I've seen this multiple
Yeah, this is my first viewing, and I was like, the water didn't go anywhere when they opened the door. Why not?
And I'm here like, do you remember when he rappelled off a bridge to save kids from a school bus? No, sorry, not just to save kids from a school bus, but save Fat Shaggy, the teacher.
Yes!
So like I can say it as a big boy myself. Fat Shaggy is the worst character. Oh,
and that's saying a lot when you're saying this is the worst character because Colin's pretty bad. Fat Shaggy's pretty bad. Man,
it is. Is that so? Like, like all of a sudden Finn can rappel down a bridge and he's taking up all these kids, and it's
you know who can rappel down a bridge?
Who?
Refugees.
Oh my fucking god, Pete! Oh my god!
I don't know
how that works.
I don't know how that works. I'm just gonna say it.
And
apologies to any refugees.
As he's picking up the teacher, the Shaggy teacher, sharks are jumping out. There's a shark that jumps onto the top of the bus that tries to eat them.
Yes.
But the best part is that no one dies by shark in that scene.
But also, I love that the tornado made sharks like weirdly like not superhuman because
but aggressive, human, but like super hyper aggressive.
It's like
right?
I haven't researched sharks. I
don't know much about sharks.
I don't think they can physically jump out of water onto the top of a bus.
Yes.
Especially not water that's not that deep. Let's remember that deep. Because it doesn't really go up much past the bus.
No, because it's
they can
barely
still
above the wheels because they can open the back door to get them out. So, anyway, so no one dies via shark.
So angry.
But the Sharknado, the tornado element of the Sharknado, rips the Hollywood sign off.
It does.
And the Shaggy teacher.
Yes.
And I say Shaggy because he looks like a fat version of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo. He's literally dodging letters of the fucking Hollywood sign. And then he goes, Mom said Hollywood would kill me. And then the Hollywood sign crushes him to death. It's fantastic.
Drip Fat Shaggy.
Drip Fat Shaggy. You're one of the average ones, my friend. Then we find out from this scene that Jason
with 2 A's.
Jason with 2 A's is a conspiracy theorist because he thinks the government's behind this.
Of course
he just has a line about how it's the government, which is great. Then we're introduced to Matt. They go to an Air Force base where we're introduced to Matt, who is Finn's son.
Because we learn that Finn has a son. And it's also brought up in the most casual of
Super
ways.
Super cash.
And then Nova, being the sane mind of the audience, is like, wait, you have a daughter and a son? Apparently 2 kids that you don't give a fuck about at all?
No, he doesn't give a fuck about them because he doesn't bring them up.
Also, he's a surfer.
Yes, he is. Yes.
And he owns a bar. But he dresses like he's a pleb.
Yeah, he's got like jeans and a leather jacket.
So
and
it's like,
fucking
if you're a
t-shirt.
professional surfer the way that your reputation apparently is, and you own a bar, that would suggest you have money. Right?
If the bar's doing well.
April lives in a really nice fucking house.
Was that Colin money?
That's the thing. You're like, and then you've got your son's in.
Colin strikes me as money. Daddy's money is what it strikes me
your
as.
son is in Navy.
The Navy, Air Force. He's in some sort of
so it's like
military service.
He's doing all right.
He can. All we need to know about Matt, the son, is that he can drive.
He can drive
helicopters.
He can pilot helicopters, and he can't save certain people.
But we can't save everyone, Pete.
We can't.
We can't save everyone. But Drip. The grand plan that these guys come up with. Donald, listen to me. That they come up with is to drop homemade bombs from the helicopters into the tornadoes holding the sharks, thus making the Sharknado.
Because the military and everybody else in the world apparently isn't doing anything.
The military just like, fuck Los Angeles.
Also, I'm guessing this is only happening in Los Angeles.
In the first movie, yes. It becomes global by the third and fourth
But is the
film.
second one happening directly after, or is it happening simultaneously?
I have to watch it again. No, it's happening after because it's all the same characters all the way through.
Right, okay.
So Ian Ziering and Tara Reid really got their money's worth out of this franchise. So that's what they do. They just start dropping bombs in because now there's multiple Sharknadoes.
There is multiple
Sharknadoes.
Yeah. If Twister taught us anything, it's that one is never enough.
I'll just put down rest in peace news reporter who gets killed by a shark.
Johnny with an eye.
Johnny with an eye.
She fucked me off the entire fucking movie.
And
because all you hear is her voice. And then you see her on the TV screen and she gets maimed on TV. I loved it. Johnny with two eyes. Johnny with an eye. Johnny with two eyes, Johnny with an eye.
Is it Joni then? No, it's Johnny because it's J-O-N.
It's Johnny. John.
That's right.
But she always makes it a thing to be like, Johnny with an eye. Eat a dick, bitch. Fuck.
But if it wasn't hard enough already to fucking blow up a Sharknado, the Sharknadoes converge into a mega Sharknado and they only have one bomb left.
Only one.
And a shark jumps up and grabs the helicopter.
Of course it does.
Rip it in a tear and Nova falls out of the helicopter into the mouth of a shark.
So,
but you might go,
why,
Nick and Pete, why
are you not drinking?
Stay tuned, you'll fucking find out.
But anyway, sip because fake rip.
A fake drip. Fake drip.
No, I'm actually sad.
It's a fripper.
I'm actually sad that
Nova is one of the good ones.
So
Nova is one of the fripp.
Fake rest in peace. Fripp.
I'm going to put an S in there as well. Fripp. Sad. Fake rest in peace.
Or maybe Srip.
Shrip. Sad rest in peace.
Either way.
There's a mega Sharknado. And then this is another scene where they have these massive, like, grand shots of Los Angeles where you can absolutely tell it's not raining at all.
Well, it's CGI Los Angeles.
It's CGI Los Angeles, and you can absolutely tell it's not raining anywhere at all. So then they decide the best course of action, Matt, is for the last few bombs is to drive an improvised car bomb into the mega Sharknado and blow it up. This car also has nitrous in it, which causes a giant explosion that takes out the tornado. But you know what happens?
What, Nick?
The sharks aren't all killed, and sharks just start falling from the sky because they don't have a tornado to go to anymore.
And then it's
Their
weird.
home was destroyed, and this is all an allegory for destroying the ocean.
And what I love is that this whole movie, there's just sharks in the sky.
Just in the sky.
For no reason. Like,
the sharks are just there.
How are they up there?
Well, the tornado you would assume, but
yes,
some of the sharks are just genuinely flying.
Yeah.
They have the ability to fly. One shark in particular has the ability to fly. And do you know who meets him in ground level? Finn. Finn with a fucking chainsaw jumps into the mouth of a shark and goes plonk. And then you're like, fuck, Finn's dead too. But then you hear and fucking out of the shark comes bloody Finn.
But
literally bloody Finn.
Not just Finn.
Because Nova is alive too. Unstrip to Nova. She's alive. Who also reveals to Matt, who she's been flirting with the whole time, that her real name is Jenny Lynn. What significance does that fucking have?
Like, I know it's weird to be like, we're okay with you being named Nova.
We're okay with it.
Because also, it's like, it's weird.
We were okay with
the way that they formed their relationship and that she reveals things to him, it's like prior to Sharknado,
yes,
they had something.
But they
don't because she wasn't aware he existed.
Oh my God.
It's just like, what the actual fuck?
But this movie ends in the perfect way possible with the title card, Finn.
Which is
just poetic.
French for the end?
It could be.
It's something like that.
Probably.
It's the only time the film is genuinely smart.
Yeah, like
By
it's aware.
putting
It's
fin-
aware.
it's
It's
aware.
aware. Pete, I had a lot of fun talking about Sharknado. That was
Yeah.
actually, I know you got a little bit fucking fired up there.
There's just things that irritate me, and I get it. And I'm about to be irritated
Now,
with a lot of
it's
stuff.
it's my turn to get irritated now because
I'll be irritated. Don't worry.
we're about to talk about our final movie of the episode, The Meg,
The Meg.
2018, Jason Statham vehicle, 46% critic score.
Too high.
42% audience score.
Too high.
A group of scientists exploring the Marianas Trench encounter the largest marine predator that has ever existed.
The Megalodon.
Now, when the trailer for The Meg came out, like me, were you like, oh, this looks like a fun, self-aware little romp of a shark movie? 'Cause
Yes,
that's what I was like.
Yes, I fucking was. Because love Jaws.
Love Jaws.
Deep Blue Sea.
Love Deep Blue Sea.
Love The Shallows. Love 47 Meters Down. Love the Jaws sequels. I love
Shark movies.
Shark movies.
Motherfucking shark movies.
Shark movies. I love them. So when it was The Meg, I was like, The
I'm on
Meg,
board.
a giant shark, Jason fucking Statham.
Which in the trailer they showed the money shot of the film where he stabs a shark and rides it in the air as it jumps out of the water. So I was on board.
And then also giant shot of all of the swimmers with the giant shark
That's
underneath.
right.
And I was like, oh.
Posters were great.
And then I was like, you know what? Let's make this in a post Piranha 3D world.
Dude,
Because
I have an affinity for Piranha 3D. And its sequel, Piranha 3 Double D.
Oh, I hate the sequel.
I hate the sequel too, but the fact they called it
3
Double
Double D.
D, I will always,
But
I'll always forgive it.
If you have not seen Piranha 3D,
Yeah,
see Piranha 3D.
yeah.
Because
Do it.
it is so self-aware.
It's so much fun.
And it is...
Do you know who's great in that movie?
Elizabeth Shue?
She's great, but do
She's
you know who
great.
else is great in that
Jerry
movie?
O'Connell.
Jerry O'Connell.
Yeah. And it has some of the most fucked up death scenes.
Oh, God, yeah.
It is so beautifully gory. And I was hoping that the Meg would follow suit.
But,
But it didn't because it was
did
rated
not.
PG-13. And as soon as I saw that, I was like,
damn it.
I'm a little bit disappointed because... But then in my mind, I was like, The Shallows is PG-13.
Effective, thrilling shark film.
And I'm pretty sure 57 Meters Down was 47 Meters Down.
47 Meters Down
I'm
was
pretty sure that was
PG-13
PG-13.
probably.
So I was like, you know what? You can make scary movies. You can make action movies.
Yep.
You can make really effective shark movies PG-13.
can.
So you know what? Even though I was a little bit less excited,
Yes.
I was still like...
But I was still excited.
I'm still on board,
though. Yeah,
because
I
I'm
was
like-
still keen. The
because-
trailers sold me.
Because I'm like, Jason Statham just makes... He makes fun action movies.
He does.
Shout out to the first two Transporter movies especially.
Yeah, first Transporter movie is great. He's great in the Guy Ritchie films. And for the first half an hour of The Meg, I like Jason Statham. He's funny. He's
is.
self-aware.
Yeah.
Now, he is the hero in the opening scene when we see a tough decision he has to make in regards to leaving a crew member behind on a submarine that's going to explode. And that haunts him.
It haunts
That's
him.
the character development we needed.
Or it's the
And
only character development that we need.
It's the only one we get too. So
Yeah, pretty much.
but the whole point of The Meg, and I feel like we can run through this one.
Yeah.
We'll get it out of the way. The Meg's not good.
It's not good at
I
all.
was hoping to get back into this movie and be like, maybe I was wrong back in 2018. Maybe I was like, oh, it is more self-aware than it is. It's not. It's really not.
So I saw The Meg and I didn't give it a good positive review.
Neither did I.
And I remember when we spoke about it, and
Yeah.
I said to Nick, I was like, I didn't like The Meg, and Nick was like, but you know what? Maybe when you rewatch it, you'll rewatch it with eyes of like, remember you didn't like it, so
Yeah.
maybe you like it on rewatch.
Yeah.
So I went into this being like, remember you didn't like it, but maybe that'll make this an easier watch because you had relative expectations.
Yeah.
So I sat down, I had my dog with me.
Oh, Gigi. Bless Gigi. You probably heard her on previous
I
episodes.
put my television on as you
Wow.
do. Went to the
Wow.
went to all the streaming services because Meg is playing on all of them.
Warner Brothers don't give a fuck.
And I was like, let's fucking go.
You were excited, right?
And then I got maybe 20 minutes into it.
Yeah.
And I know that I messaged Nick throughout it.
You did.
And I got 20 minutes in and I was like, this is awful.
Yeah.
It's the epitome of a missed opportunity.
Abso-fucking. That is the best way to put it, because the biggest sin the Meg commits is that it is not fun.
And
there is nothing fun about this
and
movie.
it doesn't kill enough people.
Doesn't kill enough people.
You have this giant cast and none of them are likable people.
No, but that's the thing. Like, when your most likable person is Jason Statham, who, let's be 100% honest, is not necessarily like an everyman. He's got a bit of a cocky attitude about him just in all of his films.
And he's ripped as shit. So,
he plays it well.
So like normal guys can't relate to him.
Yeah, well, yeah. No, now you've said it, I'm like,
that's
shit.
just me going from an aesthetic point of view. Like
That's so true,
Like, you
though.
look at his body and just like, that's not attainable for normal people.
No, but it's the trope as well of like when he gets recruited to be like, hey, we need you to help save these 3 other people who've gone down into Mariana's Trench because another billionaire was like, let's find out what's under there. He's just like, nah, man, I'm fucking drinking beers in Thailand. Leave me the fuck alone.
So shout out to Jason Statham's smart decision of wanting to drink beer in Thailand before you did a stupid fucking thing by going down to Mariana's Trench and saving your ex-wife.
if you fucking go down to Mariana's Trench in this movie, why the fuck is the Meg 2 the trench then? I'm sorry.
You know what? Don't be fucking sorry, Nick.
You know what? I'm not sorry anymore.
That makes perfect... Oh, what the fuck is the sequel going to be then?
I have no fucking idea.
It's just going to be us really angry at the Meg.
It could be. It fucking could be.
But we'll talk about the film because
Yes,
that's
yes.
what you people have come
Because
for.
we're professionals. We're professionals.
We are professionals.
And this is what we do for you. Our lovely
So-
audience. We love you.
What I wrote in my review...
Yeah.
The way that I summed this up was that the cheese for this should have been thicker
Absolutely, yes.
and the pleasure should have been more guilty.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
But this film is just, it's fucking
it
boring.
lacks self-awareness. It truly lacks self-awareness. And the biggest thing that showcases that is Rainn Wilson's character. Because Rainn Wilson is trying to play his character. I believe he's called Morris, or his last name is Morris.
so.
And he's the billionaire who's like, I'm funding this exploration down to Mariana's Trench, blah, blah, blah. Literally Samuel Jackson 2.0. And he's playing this like guy who's like, oh, I'm like really easygoing and fun. Like, I'm going to say these witty one-liners.
It's so awfully written.
It's awfully written, and I feel bad for Rainn Wilson because he's obviously just given... He's performing based on the direction he's given, right?
Especially after he revealed
Ooh.
about how for the first few years of
The Office, he hated
doing it because he was like, I don't want to be on a TV show.
Totally. He wanted to be a movie man.
And then you get movies like this and you're like,
And you know what? I'm not going to say it's 100% his fault, but it's definitely partially his fault.
He's under direction. Who directed this
John
film?
Turteltaub.
Who
directed
National Treasure?
Which is great.
I don't know if this is one of those films. Like
God damn it,
the
dude.
acting doesn't the acting won't change if this film is gorier.
No.
But part of me feels like this movie was gorier, and they
There's an R-rated script. I'll tell you that much.
okay.
I feel like there's an R-rated script.
Okay.
I don't think they made an R-rated movie because the Meg 2 is also PG-13. Poo. But that's the thing. Like Rainn Wilson is
poo. I say poo.
I say absolute doo-doo. Rainn Wilson is insufferable in
He's
this
so
movie.
bad,
He is
and I was like, and I
insufferable.
was so happy that they decided to kill him
Yes, and rest in peace, Rainn Wilson.
because they don't kill enough fucking people in this movie.
Pete, you want to make you real upset? Okay, so they actually killed 27 people in this movie.
Yeah, but half of those, like, it's 3/4 of those people don't fucking
97
matter.
in one scene.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's the thing. Like, it's people who don't matter. And that's the issue, is that, like, we're introduced to so many
27 people.
characters in this film. Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
No, 27 in total.
They don't kill 27
No, it's not 27 people. It's 27 in total across 3 films.
Yeah.
Disregard.
So
Not a lot in this movie.
Yeah.
But the issue is that half the people are killed in one scene in one bite. It's when the Meg comes up and takes a whole mouthful of people.
Yeah,
off the
we
deck in that one
don't
scene.
give a fuck about those people.
So okay. Let's try and find positives, and then we'll launch the fuck into this film.
Positives.
I'm gonna launch the fuck into this film. No.
Positives. Go.
Positives. I think when the movie hits, a la Jason Statham jumping out of the air with a Meg, those bits are cool. I think the aesthetic look of like the underwater place, what do we call it? Facility. Underwater facility. I like the use of lighting in those things. You know, like how it's like all circular lights everywhere. It just has this cool aesthetic feel. That's about fucking it, to be honest.
And because I'm gay,
whoa,
Jason Statham shirtless,
yes,
bonus points.
Boner points. There's also, oh my God, dude. Okay, so the whole thing is like they send a fucking trio down to Mariana's Trench because they're like, we don't think Mariana's Trench is the bottom. We think it's just a layer of some sort of gas and we can go further. And it turns out they can go further. And it's like the fucking dude from Heroes. Oh, some random other dude. And this chick who's the ex-wife of Jason Statham, right?
And you know what I will say? So that chick's played by Jessica McNamee.
She is.
Australian actress who you'll know from
Australians in shark movies
Sonya
now.
Blade from
Mortal
Mortal
Kombat.
Kombat. She is probably giving the film's like best performance outside of Jason Statham.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I hated
Ruby Rose?
yeah, for
What
start.
accent was Ruby Rose doing for this
Right.
movie? What accent
When she
was
first
Ruby Rose doing?
came on, I was like, I forgot she was Australian in this. And then she said
But
another
she's not,
and then she
though.
said another line, and I was like, it's not
Was that American?
Australian at all.
Anyway,
I was
sorry,
like, this is
what
why
was
you
the
were
other one?
silent. This is why you were silent in John Wick 2.
Oh. No, fair though.
You're like, no.
Oh, but fair.
I was gonna say I really didn't like. I think he's. I don't want to butcher his name, so I'm gonna say a hero from Heroes.
Yeah, from me. Yeah, I don't know.
Naki.
Sorry.
Is it
closed the tab.
Naki?
I can't remember, but he's from Heroes. Yeah,
He's
loves him in Heroes.
he's awful.
Which is funny because they give him like the most emotional scene of the film where he sacrifices himself to distract the Meg so everyone else can get away.
Yeah.
Right. So like,
Right.
And he's like writing a writing a note to his wife to be like, I'm gonna die
And
down
then
here. Blah,
passes
blah, blah.
it to the giant.
Well, he sneaks it into.
Sweet.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
So it's just okay. Let's get into this.
Okay.
Let's just get into this now. They have a joke in the beginning of this film when they're about to go down past the gas layer of Mariana's Trench, and they're like, beginning insertion, and
Oh
Heroes goes,
God. Insertion.
And I was like, I don't mind a bad joke.
Look, that is
But
some
holy shit.
that is something that we would probably say when you're out, maybe like out drinking.
It's the low hanging.
It's low hanging fruit, and we are not
low-hanging
above
fruit.
low hanging
Oh
fruit.
God, no! I'm actually on level with it. But even I went. Oh.
But in this situation,
Even I went. Ooh.
as professionals in their field,
Yeah.
I don't think that's what their reaction would be.
No, fuck no. God no.
Like, I feel like maybe the only way you get away with it is like low fruit insertion, and then you have someone being like, "Oh, that's what she said. What she said."
No,
Like,
no, it doesn't fucking
doesn't
work.
work. That would be funnier.
This movie tries to do so many weird, funny things. They put a shark fin on a fucking Roomba in the thing, and I was like, come on, guys.
And look, I know that it's not nice to talk ill of children, but the fucking daughter in this,
she's not good in this, no. There's a lot of people who are not
her
good in
line
this.
when she was like, "There's a monster out there," and it's
Oh
great."
my God.
it was
No,
fucking painful.
Painful. You know what else is painful?
The mother's acting.
Is my mum dead?
yeah,
Is my mum dead? I was like, do you want to be fucking sad about your mum dying? But we shouldn't be angry at kids.
but we can be
we
because
can be, we will
kids
be.
are actors too.
Kids
Learn to act.
We don't see a fucking shark, a big shark, till 35 minutes into this movie.
And then
What the fuck?
And then-
Sharknado opens with that shit.
And then, as I've said, you have so many characters in this film.
Too many.
And then you have too many close calls. Like when Ruby...
Oh, man.
I remember when I first...
when Ruby Rose falls
when
out
I
of the
first
boat?
saw this film, Ruby Rose fell in the water, I was like, yes.
Finally. And then, no, because Dr. Jax
He
has to get in front of
fucking-
him.
And then because he
and he's
fucking
like,
sacrifices himself.
oh, man. So, well, rest in peace.
Yeah, I guess so.
Just to keep it with him. This movie's obsessed with fucking the octopus as well in that first
which
bit.
has fucking nothing to do with
Nothing
anything.
to do with anything, and it's like just like a hentai dude's wet dream of just watching those little suction cups on the fucking whales get ripped apart.
And then you've got the scene where they catch what they think is the first Meg, the only Meg.
Okay, I'll admit, the first time watching this, I liked the initial Meg fake out.
I mean, I did.
The initial Meg fake out is cool.
And then when
the reveal is cool.
And then they've got the giant Swede standing next to the dead Meg with its mouth open, and he's like, "Put your head in it. Put your head in it."
It's that classic of
and
like,
I was
don't
like,
do it.
And I was like, okay, I'm not going to be mad that this guy wants to take a photo, and they keep saying, "Put your head in his mouth."
Yeah.
And I was like, that thing is just going to clamp shut.
And that would be great.
But it
Not the
doesn't.
case.
And
It's
you know
not the
what? I
case.
was like, okay, you got me.
Interesting,
And
John
then
Turtletop.
it shows that giant Meg is not
the Meg.
Is not the Meg.
It's not the Meg.
There is a bigger Meg, which also the size of the shark changes when you see the way that.
Oh my God.
But regardless,
Well, if you're complaining about how Sharknado, he's like fucking.
It is fucking huge.
And it's like in this like classic beach destination spot of like, this is where people are just wading in the water.
Fucks me off.
Oh man, you hate it.
Because I said
I love that you hate it.
I said it before that the sharks can take people in shallow water. The water that these people are swimming in and it doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't at
People
all. No.
would never swim out that far.
No, not at like a touristy beach destination.
It makes
right?
sense in piranha because piranhas are really fucking small. It makes sense.
No, totally.
And everybody is drunk off their tits and doing stupid shit.
But this is like a family resort.
But Meg, you have all like the little chubby kid is like, let me go in the water, and she's like, don't
With
go.
his ice cream
she's
as
like,
well.
don't go too far.
Yeah.
And then he gets in the water, and then like 2 seconds later, he's fucking.
He's just like
really far
out of fucking.
It just pisses me off, and I get that you have to do these sort of things for the big like scenes like this.
Totally,
but then if you're gonna do that, have a payoff.
Totally, because
This has
the payoff
no-
in this
this-
scene. Like, I'm not saying kill the kid, but I'm just saying make your movie interesting. But like, not have like a 30-second scene where the Meg kills like 9 people. Rest in peace, 9 people.
Yeah, like it swims up, and like, you're right.
No, I'm good.
It swims up and
I
like
dribbled.
grabs all of them, and like you're like.
It's so unsatisfying.
But yeah, and you're like, oh, cool. But like, no, because it doesn't like it
By the
doesn't.
way, at that point, it's the real Meg.
Yeah.
Because the reveal of the real Meg is fucking cool when they're all.
The reveal of the real Meg is probably like the only like cool part of the whole film.
So like they've got what they think is the Meg on their boat, and the real Meg comes up and fucking chomps into the other Meg.
So and the Swede has fallen off the boat.
At that point,
And it's one of those classic things where the way that he's wading in the water and the way that they shot it, you're just like, I'm waiting for a shark to come up and bite you.
Yes.
And then the shark comes up, eats him, eats the other shark, takes half the boat with him. So then at this point, you're like, Ruby Rose has fell into the water once and lived. Now everybody's in the fucking water. And you're like, surely you'll kill more people.
Surely someone's going to.
No.
Well, more people are going to get fucking murdered.
None of the main characters die.
None of those fuckers die.
None of them die. And it's
so
like.
annoying.
It's like. It's like they don't understand Shark Movie 101.
And then they're like, okay, so like, this is just something that fucking annoys me. I just thought of.
Who would have thought the Meg would be the movie that would make us like this
How
fucking
mad
angry?
have I just gotten about the Meg? So
I didn't drink for the.
I don't know if you had this. So I watched this. Pete, I'm so ashamed to admit this.
Why, Nick?
I own the Meg on 4K.
You do?
On a Steelbook.
He fucking does.
I own the Meg
He fucking
Steelbook
does.
edition. Now, I was watching it and I was like, holy shit, these scenes are fucking overexposed. Like, did you have that on your... You can't see shit
But
in
also,
the background.
It is
bright.
But it is also like...
It's some coming to heaven shit. That's
But
what
it is
I thought I
also
was looking at.
so like I know that we're in this like period now where so many films of like big budget movies are not being filmed on physical sets.
Yes.
But this film, Like when they're in the facility, or even when they're walking outside the facility and the sky is nighttime, you're like, this is bad green screen.
This is awful green screen.
Even not on 4K.
No.
Watching this film on TV. And like I have a good TV.
No, but still but
and
that's
I was like,
it
was just like it's not good.
Because I was like, you can't see anything behind anyone and everyone is overexposed. It looks like the sun is the brightest sun in all of fucking existence. And it pissed me off. But I mean, look. This movie's so unsatisfying. That's it. So unsatisfying.
It's just like you have like it feels like there's like what 8 to 10 main characters in that group,
and like 3 of them die.
And you look at it and you be like, Deep Blue Sea, you killed off 2/3 of your cast, even though that cast is small. Yeah, you still killed them off.
You had the fucking cojones to do it.
Sharknado does better than this movie.
Oh my god,
what is that fucking saying?
Also, not saying I want dogs to die, but little Pippin falls into the water, and I'm like, have Pippin get swallowed up by the shark.
But also...
Pippin survives.
But also...
that whole boat of people survives.
They wouldn't let the dog swim that fucking far.
No, they wouldn't. Oh. Fuck me. This movie's making me fucking recline and regret.
It really is a case of... like, if you want to watch a cheesy, entertaining shark movie...
Deep Blue Sea.
Deep Blue Sea.
Watch Deep Blue Sea.
Sharknado,
you'll at least get us so bad it's good.
The Shallows is really fucking good. I'd say watch Jaws 3D and Jaws the Last...
The Revenge. Jaws the Revenge.
Watch those movies more than this. They kill more people.
That's the thing. I just think the Meg does not commit to its insanity.
And we're not saying that you need to kill people in a movie. But when you have a creature feature like this...
that's the thing. It's a creature feature.
That's the whole thing you go for.
Now, let's quickly talk about the finale of the Meg while we're on it.
Let's do that.
What did you think about the whole slicing the belly open with his little fucking underwater?
I didn't give a fuck.
Didn't give a fuck. What do you think about all the sharks coming in to eat the Meg?
That was kind of cool.
It was kind of cool. That's about it.
It's really it.
But now there's more Megs. That's what the Meg 2 is about. There's more Megs. Where did they come from?
The trench?
The trench.
The motherfucking trench.
The motherfucking trench. Look. I know we haven't properly broken down the Meg like we normally do.
We don't need to because it's shit.
Perhaps it's the alcohol.
I don't think it is. I feel like we
I'm mad.
I feel like regardless, this movie would make us mad because as we said,
I did not have fun watching this. Yeah, and I gave it a higher score than Sharknado. But I feel like that's a 2.
What did you give Sharknado?
1.5. No, I gave Sharknado a 2 as well.
Okay.
I'm starting to really contemplate how I feel about the Meg.
It's just weird because Sharknado is one of those movies where, like, you want to give it like a 1 or a 1.5,
but because I had fun.
But because it's intentionally made that way,
I had fun with it.
Hence why it's 76%.
Dude, the Meg also finishes with Finn. You stole that from Sharknado, bro. Unless it was in the novel, then yeah, maybe Sharknado stole it from you. But I've only seen the movies, and that's my truth. Now, you might be asking yourself at this point of the fucking show,
like, why
did you pick the Meg 2?
Well, we chose the Meg 2 because
August is slim pickings,
and we've seen. Why did we choose the Meg 2? Is it because there was nothing else?
There was nothing really else to watch.
And
Gran Turismo's coming out.
But it's also got to do with what other movies relate to that. Like Gran Turismo would be like, yeah, we could watch
maybe driving movies, but you can't do like Ford v Ferrari because it's a completely different sort of movie.
And like we've done the Fast and Furious franchise.
We have indeed.
Shout out to us to go do that episode. It's really fun.
Yeah, go back and watch the Fast and Furious episode. It was a lot of fun today,
That was up until when F9 was getting released. So we haven't spoken about F9.
Now, after saying all of this, to justify why we did this episode, and we've kind of already talked about how we feel about going into the Meg 2.
Yeah.
I just want it to be more self-aware. That's all I want. I just
want it to be fun.
I want it to be fun. Now, we are aware that it's probably not getting shown a lot to critics.
Yeah, probably.
And press beforehand.
Probably.
It just strikes me as one of those movies that they will probably, depending on its quality, unless it's a banger.
But let's also talk about the fact the Meg It made $500 million worldwide.
I don't want to be that guy who's just like...
Be that guy, Nick.
It was a lot of China money.
It was.
One of the lead actresses is a well-known Chinese actress.
Bing Bing Lee.
Li Bingbing.
Lee Beaming. Bing Bing Lee, which I'm not sure which way it's pronounced.
And obviously with part of the movie set in China as well. Like, you know, it's that catering to the audience. So that has to do with that.
Because technically the Meg flopped in the States.
Big time.
It did not make its budget back.
Big time. Now I'm just going to quickly get it up in a live Google. So $130 million budget.
It made $45 million opening weekend. That's a good.
That's pretty decent.
Weekend.
It's not Barbenheimer, but it's good.
It made $145 million in the US.
So it just made its budget back.
Its budget back.
$530 million worldwide.
This is why we are getting a sequel. But you know what? What? We're getting a sequel to this movie, and we're getting it 5 years later.
Who's asking for the Meg 2?
I do not know.
Who is asking for it?
I do not know if we are in a space and time where people are clamoring for a Meg sequel.
I can tell you I'm not.
And we are also now opening in a post-Barbenheimer world where even though this is opening 2 weeks after those movies, Barbie and Oppenheimer are going to have some legs.
Oh, big time. Yeah.
And really the only thing opening this week in the States is Talk to Me.
Which you should go see.
Which you should absolutely go see. But that is not going to be competition for Barbie and Oppenheimer.
Absolutely not. No, it's counter programming.
So, you know what? The Meg 2, it might have a $20 million opening. It might go okay. But you know what? I don't see this being another $500 million success.
Unless it is actually great. And gets word of mouth.
Yeah.
And has legs. But I don't see it either.
I don't see it having legs.
But we will watch it and you can find our reviews for it.
We will watch it.
When the reviews drop on AU Review
and
Nova Stream Network and NicksFlicksFix on Instagram. I'll be doing a video review as well.
Yeah.
Now, Pete.
Yes,
this
Nick.
might seem like an abrupt wrap up, but I've got to pee so bad.
Cool.
Because I've drank 6 beers.
You have drunk 6 beers.
What are we doing next month on the monthly movie marathon? I'm so glad you all asked because we were having this discussion all the way up to the 11th hour. Which is why
when he asked me, I was like, I don't know what we're actually doing.
Up to the 11th hour. Now, we're going to tell you what we think we're going to do.
Yeah.
It may change based on what is getting released because obviously things are getting pushed back with these strikes at the moment.
We don't know what's getting released. So right now,
right here,
we are talking about The Nun 2.
Which we'll be watching The Conjuring, Conjuring 2, and The Nun leading up to it. Movies that have featured The Nun or in the Conjuring universe.
But there is the possibility that we might look at, hey, Haunting in Venice is coming.
Which we are actually kind of low-key, high-key fans of Murder on the Orient Express and Death on the Nile.
So we might do that. And then there's also the possibility of another movie just like swooping in and us being like, hey, let's watch that. So you know what?
It's a surprise.
It's a choose your own adventure. It's not a choose your own adventure.
We're choosing our adventure.
We're choosing our own adventure. So basically look out for NicksFlicksFix on Twitter and Instagram. Look out for Rated PDG on Instagram and Twitter because we will tell you
You
what
will find
we're
out.
going to do. We might throw caution to the wind and do something completely left field.
Who the fuck knows?
Maybe we'll just talk for.
We'll do whatever the heck we want. We did have a cool idea for the end of August, but unfortunately, the movie we did want to do that for did get pushed back in regards to the strikes.
Yeah.
So but then hopefully that'll pop back up one day. That'll be a really cool idea.
Like maybe we do a like older movie and
maybe we do. Yeah. Maybe we'll surprise you a little bit.
Either way. Keep an eye out.
Yes.
We hope you've enjoyed our talks about motherfucking shark movies. Maybe we'll just watch more shark movies.
I'm not against it.
I'm not against it at all, as long as we don't have to rewatch the Meg again. Because that really feels like a movie that I'll never watch again.
I agree. I absolutely agree.
I'll never watch it again.
Again. Oh my God.
Yeah.
All of our social stuff, as Pete was relaying before, is in the description. You know where to find us.
Find it. Look below.
What do we got coming up? That's huge. Talk to Me interviews.
Talk to Me interviews
coming out.
Are going out.
Already out as well.
Yes,
Please go see that movie. It's out this weekend. It is fantastic.
Also out in Australian cinemas this week is Sisu.
please go see Sisu.
Sisu's a good time.
A lot of fun. We got a lot of stuff in the pipeline.
Some stuff that we're really not allowed to talk about. Stuff that we might have
seen something
really
just
recently.
before this.
But basically,
we
just
can say zero about.
We can say zero about it.
But keep on the lookout.
Keep on the lookout.
All right, I'm about to piss my pants.
All right, so
you know what we say when we got to pee our pants, Pete?
bye.